Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in. I already see a few people in here. I'm Michael Gracia. I'm just going to be doing some drawing today. My buddy Ray Felix will be popping on at some point. Um, I was just chatting with him. So, yeah, just give me a moment. Almost done with a cup of cocoa. I just want to finish up a getting my Facebook on the other side here. And I'm looking. Because like I said, I have issues with
Hello, and thank you guys for.
never mind that. The comments popping up. Um, why is it doing that? I don't know. Anyway, who cares? Let's get to drawing. Um, so I'm going to share my screen uh, like I did yesterday. If you came on and watched yesterday, I drew a little cartoony rabbit and some kind of anime style character. Um, Today, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I want to do some fantasy drawing, maybe some sci-fi. I haven't decided yet. I kind of do both. So let me get my window open here. And so I'll be working in Clip Studio Paint. Um, I'm working at 5x7 because I have this idea of doing some trading cards. And trading cards normally measure 2.5 by 3.5, so I just doubled the size so I can draw a little larger. And these will get stuff I'll get printed up um, on its own. So I'll do some sketches. I think maybe we'll do a fantasy piece right now. Let me get this full screen. You don't need to see me right now. We'll wait till Ray pops on. Oops, wrong thing for the solo layout. There we go. And hello, Noah. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start off by sketching. And I might play around with how I sketch today. I've been experimenting with some different styles. So why don't we do? I got an idea. Edit. Change canvas size. Rotate. Flip canvas. That's what I want. Okay, I have this idea, and I think I'm gonna have somebody kind of laying down, maybe a little fantasy based. I don't know. And so the arm is going to be up and behind his head here. And this will be over here. And maybe he'll be leaning up like against a tree or something. Maybe we'll change that. I don't know. Let's just get a shape of a face and kind of little bit of a nose there. All right. Actually, I think this will be a little higher right there. And you know what I think I might do? Let me see if I can do this, guys. While this is drawing, I'm going to pull out one of my clamps and just to show, I got a clamp here, and this is a gooseneck clamp, and I'm going to attach it to my desk. I'm going to see if I can get a good angle here. I'm going to take my phone and I'll put it in do not disturb mode. Do not disturb is on. And now I'm going to go into my Instagram and see, maybe we'll Instagram this as well. So let me do, that's not it. It's been a while since I've done a live video. Live right here. And where's the switch of the camera? There it is. And I'll put that in like this and angle it down so you can see me drawing here. Whoa. Oh, man. Let me get that. So I didn't think of this. I just thought of putting on Instagram. I haven't done an Instagram live draw in a while, so let's just see what happens. I'll have that on too while I'm going here. So I got this here, and now what I'm going to do, and I'll see if anyone is going to come on there, is I'll lower the opacity just a bit, create a new layer. And I think for this, let's go 0. And you guys, you don't need to see me here anymore. For those watching on Facebook and YouTube and everywhere, you don't need to see that. Let's just get that up. I'm going to go about a 25% magenta, 25% yellow, and a 0 black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually draw and paint with color right now. So I want to get a bigger pencil brush. And maybe I'll change his nose color too so it stands out. But for now, I'm just going to use this bump here. No, maybe I shouldn't be using the pencil. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to the pen tool so it's cleaner. Too big. So yeah, you guys. Noah, yes, you're watching on YouTube. For those, yes, people can send me fan art if they want. I'm happy to look. I actually had an email I used to specifically accept it at. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head right now, but yeah, you can send it. Go to my website getintoon.net or michaelgracia.com, or just send it through social media. You should be able. I think if you're on YouTube, I think you could get my email through YouTube as well. All right. So, yeah, so I'm always happy to see people's interpretation of what I do, what others do. Um, if you're looking for feedback, no, I don't want to delete that. I don't want to be rude, but I don't give feedback unless unless you're one of my students, and by that mean actively, taking lessons from me at the moment. And I'm just going to do him all in this color here for now. Let's see, can I move this back a bit so you guys can see better? Like that. Now, I don't usually draw this way too often. Mostly because I'm colorblind and I work much better black and white. And then I color after using the colors I'm very familiar with. Let's just do this first. Let's just get a nice line. And to make my life easier, let's just drop a fill in. Oh, undo. I got to remember what the code is there for that, but D. Okay, where's the P right here? Let's just clean that up a bit. Right, so we got a character. He'll be leaning up against the tree. But what I want him to do is I want him to be some kind of like warrior, ranger, some kind of um, some kind of character from you know, like a fantasy thing. So hold on one second. I'm gonna just hide my screen for a moment. Stop the share because we got
Hold on
Ray
one
Felix on.
Hey, what's
I'm
up?
gonna just hide my screen for
How
a
you
moment.
doing? How's it going? We got some
Stop the
feedback
share
here.
'cause we
Where's that
got-
coming from? Hold on a second.
Are you watching?
How you
are
doing?
Are you watching me live right now?
That must be it. Let me close that out.
Are you?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take my last sip of my hot cocoa here.
So you doing Twitch?
I'm on Twitch. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube right now.
Yeah, I've been slacking. I haven't done anything lately.
Well, you got to do stuff, dude. We'll
Waiting for the stream and everything.
yeah. And just a little tip, I know there's some kids watching, so language today, man.
Oh, I said stream.
I know what you said. I'm just saying, just give you a little warning.
Right.
So you just got back in from shoveling.
Yeah, I'm doing like this Chinese sesame soup. It's like sesame balls
Mm-hmm.
and peanut butter balls soup.
There's no peanut butter.
Smells like peanut butter. No, all right.
Nope.
I guess not. Sesame.
Sounds good. Yeah, I got to still. We didn't get enough snow to shovel, which I'm happy for.
Oh,
But where I live, I only have to shovel out my car anyway, so
mm.
I'm okay with that.
You're in a condo or a co-op or a...
Yeah, it's a co-op I live in. So,
Oh.
but we have one space in the lot that they give us, and I park on the street, or my wife parks on the street. So really, it's just digging those cars out.
Oh,
But we haven't had, it wasn't really bad today, the street we live on here. So,
you're lucky.
yeah, I was very happy. So
Yeah.
So
Alexa,
yeah.
pause.
What'd you say?
Alexa, pause. Sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna switch rooms in a minute. I don't eat in my studio.
You don't? I do, but I usually go to another. I have my drawing table, which I just kind of use as a desk now. I don't even draw on it anymore, so I just sit there. I use it to do paperwork and whatnot. So, I sit over at my drawing table. That's where I eat. So I'm not by my computer or anything.
I see that you're doing some animation there, huh?
Not animation. Actually, hold on. Let me bring my thing over here. Where is it? There it is. Share screen. And what I'm doing, it's not animation actually. I have this idea of doing some trading cards.
Oh, Playgirl.
Yeah, you wish. No, what I'm doing is, and this is something I've been playing with in drawing, is working more from color and the shapes of color than I have been. Like, so I'll choose, say, 35 here. Let's go
Alexa,
to
play.
what?
No, send it to Alexa.
Oh, what is it? Let's
You
go
talk
with
to
maybe
robots in my house.
60, and let's go with 85. So now I got this brown out. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but I'm doing everything on like separate layers.
It's like a digital sepia tone.
Yeah, so I'm just coming in. So I have his skin tone in here, right? And now I could draw in some leather boots, right? And if I don't like the color, I'll go in and switch it later. So
Burt Reynolds. That reminds me of a Burt Reynolds pose, an iconic
yes,
pose.
I remember that. So I'll just come around and.
I like that. That's cool.
Thank you. So, and then I'll go in afterwards with the. Now, obviously, depending on the opacity and all this stuff with the type of pen I'm using, you can see the more I go over it, the darker it gets. So I got to play around still with, I'm testing brushes and things out. So I got to play around with certain things to see how it works out.
Right.
But I'm coming in here. Maybe I'll go on another layer between it, and let's give him, I don't know, some kind of maybe like bluish pants. So maybe 0 here. No, I want that to be about, let's make that 80. Let's make this 100. And let's make this 0. So now I got a pure blue here.
And this is Adobe Animate you're using?
No, I'm using Clip
Photoshop?
Studio Paint.
Oh, is that like the free?
No, it's there. I forget how much I pay for it. I have it on my iPad. I have it on my uh, Surface, and I have it on my computer here. So whatever it is, I know on the iPad I pay $15 a month. I don't remember if I pay something different,
Hmm.
right? But um, I like that you know I can work this way. I'm liking it more for drawing these
Mhm.
days. Um, I'm just looking to see. I can't tell if there's any comments. Let
Do
me
you
see.
use like Storyboard Pro or anything like that?
I used to. I a few years ago I purchased Storyboard Pro and Harmony, and I learned them, and I was pretty good with them. And then I couldn't afford to keep them, and I wasn't getting work with them, so it didn't you know it
Yeah.
wasn't worth to keep it. You
Right.
know, so so anyway, I mean, so I'm doing something like this, and then what I would do maybe, and I'll do this on a higher layer, maybe come in with a lighter version or a darker version, depending on the look I'm going for,
Mm.
and I can come in and add in maybe a thinner line,
Right.
for the legs here, just to kind of draw a little bit, just to kind of add in and break it up,
Right.
you know. So maybe I'd come in with the brown. I'd find a brown, and maybe for this one I want to go a little darker.
Are you using everything in flat or are you using layers?
I'm using everything layers right now. I have worked flat before, but then it just, for me, it gets a little confusing.
Yeah, I like
Um,
layers too.
so I'll do something like this, and I'll draw it out. And I might even go as far as to outline everything, but
Mhm.
I don't like that right there. Let's bring this coming in here and outlining these colors here, but I don't know yet. I mean, everything's just kind of like a look.
Mm.
It's what do I want to do? I'm not 100% sure yet.
Right.
So I just kind of play around. Um, like let's go maybe with a yellowish color in his shirt here.
Right.
I don't want it that green. Let's lower the green in there, and let's lower the yellow. So now I have this here, and I come in and I'll get a bigger brush. And since it's supposed to be kind of like a medieval, fantasy character, I'll give him a loose, baggy shirt. Then I just come around and I draw out the design. I think about a little bit about the wrinkles, not much because I'm going to put those in after.
Mhm.
So let's say I do it to here, and this comes in like so, and we'll open it up to
When you were
that.
studying wrinkles, who did you prefer? Did you like do like Brent Hogarth and stuff or
I studied the book, but for me, I will say that's always been an issue of mine.
Mhm.
And with my cartooning style,
Mhm.
I don't need to put in a lot of detail in wrinkles.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just kind of sometimes I guess, I've studied enough, but
Mhm.
I Hogarth's book was great. I read it. I studied out of it, but it can be a difficult um piece.
Right, right.
And I mean, his stuff his book on dynamic poses, his book on all that. And by the way, we're talking about a lot of different things right now. So for those watching, if you're not you're not into art and you are, a student learning, Bernhardt's books, if you can get a
Mhm.
hold of them, you will learn. But wait till you're at least in high school. You really
Right.
need to
I
need
don't
to
think there's an
understand
age limit.
what.
I don't think there's an age limit.
You
I
don't
think
think so? I think, well, I feel like if I looked at it when I was younger than that, I would have had issues, you
I
know?
was like 12 or 13 when I started looking at his books.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was in 6th grade, we had a bunch of like nude drawing books, like with anatomy, those old anatomy books that were printed in the 60s and 70s. We had copies
Yeah.
of those. I mean, it's art. You have to separate
Oh,
the
yeah, no, totally, I agree.
artistic thing from, we just live in a cesspool of a society, so we don't.
Yeah. I don't don't disagree. Whoops, wrong way.
I remember. I mean, but even though I was exposed to that as a young person, as you know, studying art, I remember my first day in college when they had the model disrobed. I remember the model gave me this big grin, this lady, because my face and my ears turned beet red.
Yeah.
I felt like my whole head was on fire. I was like embarrassed to be like staring at this person that I had to draw, and everybody in the class was like that. It's like,
It was. I remember. I kind of had the same. What's the word I'm looking for? The same expression. I don't
mhm.
know. I mean, like, I hope I tried to hide it. I didn't want to look. I was like, oh my god. I've never drawn
Yeah.
someone in front of me nude before until that moment, and
It wasn't like Titanic at all. It was like,
no, not at all. But when I was in the college I was in, and the model that I had, towards the end of class, she would kind of walk around and look at the work
mhm,
that the people were doing, and um, even though I was still having issues with anatomy, I wasn't as good as other people were at the beginning.
mhm,
Um, she liked the movement and the emotion. I always was able to capture movement. So we used to talk a lot, became very friendly, and I guess because eventually she became a friend of mine, um,
mm,
I I didn't have issues. Like, I was very comfortable by like the third class with doing this.
right.
You know. Um, why isn't it coming? Oh, I'm on the eraser still. So you in your studio, man?
Yeah, man, I'm still thawing out. It was so cold out. Like it's like actually not super cold, but it's just like I was outside for almost 2 hours, so I started to get chill.
Well, as I mentioned, I had hot chocolate, and I never drink hot stuff except like coffee in the morning to wake me up, or a hot tea or something. I
Yeah,
don't usually touch hot stuff,
I
you
was
know?
wearing this thing on my face, like a little like storm shadow. And I had, my cos. I couldn't find my ski goggles. So I wore the cosplay goggles I had for the Captain America 1941.
Oh my god.
You know, so I
That's
had
hysterical though.
I mean, they're real goggles. They're like pilot goggles, but like,
Yeah.
I had, like the ones he wore on top of his helmet, the A helmet that
Yeah,
he's.
yeah, yeah.
So I wore those.
Hey, if it helps you, right?
It helped for a little bit, but then they kept getting too fogged up because I was
Yeah.
breathing through this thing. So had I didn't have this face covering,
Mhm.
and it would have worked. I was like, "Oh, sweaty, I gotta wash that." It's like it's like my face was sweating, but yeah, so
So
it was a bit much. I was like
yeah.
totally. I looked like a manga character or something, like the
Uh,
goggles and the white face and then a black hoodie on top.
speaking of manga, I picked up, I think, you and Andrew when we did that virtual hangout.
Nice.
Um was it last weekend?
I think so. Yeah.
Uh you guys mentioned a book to me. Was it Solo Leveling? Um,
Oh, I don't
it's
remember.
yeah.
That isn't familiar to me.
I just bought it last night off Amazon. So
I've been buying the omnibuses of Kirby. I started with the omnibuses of John Byrne, and then I just
mhm,
realized looking at his stuff, I was like, well, he's really just copying Kirby. It's like let
yeah.
me just. So I was like, let me go to the masters, and started copying. I'd like just looking at Kirby's drawings, and I don't know why people complain about um what's his name, Vince Colletta as an inker. I honestly think that the Mike Royer ink
Mhm.
was probably more mechanical and rushed than you
Well,
know some.
the problem with Coletti is that I think what people say is he left out. It was very much number one from what I remember, because I haven't looked at it
Mhm.
in a while, but it was a very same line, like very thin lines, as opposed to like when Sinnott inked his stuff. Um,
Yeah, but,
and
but Sinnott wasn't always rushed. That guy was on. He was.
no, no, I get it, but he also left out a lot of what Kirby was putting in there. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
edited, and I think that's why people don't like it, is he edited what Kirby had.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
Stan Lee did that too. I mean,
yeah.
the Red Skull originally looked like a really skull horrific looking
Yeah.
creature, and Stan Lee had instructed inkers to make them look more cartoonly and friendly.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Golden Age skull and then the skulls that came after, there's a massive difference. Like even if you look
Yeah.
at these pencils,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a matter of. I think it's a
taste.
matter of preference. Yeah, taste and preference. I'm really good with either. I don't
Yeah.
complain about what people have done.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Hmm.
listen, I've always said these people got the work. They had they were able to meet the deadlines and they had the skills. So why
That's all it
knock the
was.
people?
It wasn't really an art form. It was a
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So
they were artists. They considered themselves artists, but at the end of the day, you had to meet a deadline, and it didn't matter what it looked like as long as it hit the. People criticize me for that too, and I'm like, hey, I give myself a deadline; it has to get done. I'm not here to like toy around and try to come up with. I'm not trying to make everything look masterful.
that way. No, I don't like that.
You know.
No, I agree with you.
You have to get it done. I mean, I see people
Yeah.
working on 15, 20 years on one comic book.
Well, that was one of my issues with the Dax Photon I'm working on. It was no, it has to be this way. It has to be the way, and I was having issues um with backgrounds because that's always been my issue. People I draw great, I can get the poses down, background. So it took me a while to get the backgrounds the way I wanted them. Once I hit the backgrounds, now I'm still behind. I'm only like 5-6 pages in, and I've only drawn the backgrounds because I know I can knock off the characters quickly.
Mm,
But I want to get the goal was to have by the end of March like 30 pages done. It's a 60-page story.
right.
So if I can get all the backgrounds that at least to the 30 pages done by March, and as I'm inking, I'm coloring them. Like I'm drawing and inking, coloring all at the same time.
Mm,
Then I can just go in and drop the characters in, and then once I have that, I'll release the first maybe 15 pages
mhm,
um on like Webtoon.
mhm.
And then I'll wait a month or wait a little bit and give it another 15 pages. I'll just 15 pages at a time,
What's your comic on Webtoons?
I don't have it up yet, but it's going to be the Dax Photons. I think I showed you that character, right?
Yeah,
Um,
he looks cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So I've been having a lot of fun. I do have to talk with my writer. There is some other what's it called?
He has like that Flash Gordon headgear, right?
Yeah, kinda. Um,
That was big in the 90s too. It was everybody.
it's funny. I
Like
drew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it was like Gambit had that like Flash Gordon headgear, and then a lot of X-Men characters
Yeah.
had it. I don't know why in the X-Men,
You know,
Starr and all those guys.
oh, I don't like that at all. It's too pink.
I
I
like your
want to.
main guys. I look good.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, let me open up what I did yesterday. I don't know if you saw.
It looks like he has cat eyes. I like that.
Yeah, I'll fix that up.
No, leave it. Looks great.
Sketching. This was yesterday. So this is what I did yesterday. I drew a little cartoon bunny in this manga or anime style
Very
character.
cool. And you're
You
doing
know,
70% digital here, right?
yeah, everything was done digitally here.
I haven't really. I haven't. I mean, I draw digitally when I'm doing animation, but I really don't like it because it's. I see how you look. You make it look easy. The weight lines for me, I don't know, is because my hand's heavy or the pressure sensitivity. It's still a trick to
Ooh,
get through. For
yeah.
me. Like I'm doing
Uh,
stuff on I'm doing trying to show my students doing how to animate on Toon Boom versus Harmony, and I'm doing both at the same time, which is making me a little dyslexic. I think I'm overdoing it.
well, Harmony and Toon Boom are the same program, right? I mean, Toon Boom's the company,
Yeah,
but there
sorry,
used to.
Adobe Animate. Adobe
Okay, well,
Animate.
no, but there used to be a program called Toon Boom Studio
Yeah,
before it went. That's why I was asking. Yeah,
I know Toon Boom Harmony. I just say Harmony because it's,
yeah.
but not Harmony, but it's a,
Which
it's a Toon Boom and Adobe
which
Animate.
which program do you prefer the two?
I prefer Toon Boom, to believe it or not. But Adobe Animate has what I like about Adobe Animate. I was never a fan of Flash. When I learned Flash and way back when it was first Macromedia,
Yeah,
um, I didn't like it. and I gave up on it really quick, and then I gave up on animating, and then I studied Maya, and I loved that, but that was just so much to remember. It was like
Yeah.
impossible. Plus, I couldn't afford. After I took the classes, I didn't really continue because I took classes at SVA, like a continuing ed class on Saturdays.
I did that with
It was just too
at
expensive
NYU.
at NYU, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
For Maya, I mean, for Maya.
for Maya, yeah, and it
Yeah.
was so expensive, so
Yeah.
I uh, I kind of gave it up for a bit, and then I did other programs throughout the years, but now I think Toon Boom is so easy. I think they're both so easy now.
Yeah.
But they're both very user friendly. I
Well,
think
go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I like Toon Boom best, but I think that Adobe Animate, because you have similar shortcuts to Photoshop and Illustrator, that it's
Mm,
more user friendly for me because I have
yeah.
that background. Well, you also,
Yeah.
having those shortcuts in your brain already is so much helpful instead of like looking for stuff and like where is this and where is that and I can't find this and that.
Yeah.
So
See, the thing is, I like both.
mhm.
But Toon Boom had such a harder learning curve
Mm,
that I've always preferred Adobe Animate, mostly because I've been working with it since it was with Macromedia.
yeah, yeah.
Going back to, what was it, 95, 96, whenever
Oh,
that came
don't
out.
say it. Don't say it. You're giving up
Dude,
our age.
it's okay, man. I'm okay with that. Hey, I just turned 46 the other day. I'm okay with my age.
Yeah,
You know.
I'm 48 now.
Yeah. Um, but I've always liked it, and there are things I try to pay attention to as much as I can in the animation industry, even if I'm not really doing much in it.
Right.
Um, and some people I've heard say Adobe Animate will be gone within the next like 5 to 10 years for working with it professionally.
Really?
Um,
You
yeah, I
think?
hope not, um, because I really do like the program, and given a choice, I'd rather work in Adobe Animate than Harmony.
Mhm.
Harmony, though, I will say this, has much better drawing tools, much better.
Mm, right.
Um, and I could sit and love those tools all day long.
Yeah, the
You know.
tree, doing that whole tree thing I find it fascinating, but it doesn't always convey to what
Yeah. Oh,
like the
you mean like when you what's it called? When you're rigging a character, you mean?
when you're rigging and stuff.
Yeah.
I see people
Yeah.
just using the tree and stuff, and I'm just like, well, it's not that. It doesn't seem like it's that clear.
Yeah. Animate now has that feature. I haven't played
Yeah,
with
they
it
do.
much.
They do. They have.
Um,
I'm
I haven't.
actually gonna show them the similarities and differences between the
Yeah.
two.
I haven't used it that much because I'm so accustomed to animating other ways in that
Mhm.
program.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it does have its benefits.
Mhm.
Let's get this
Oh, yeah.
in. I do.
So, how's your comics working out? Do you find
Uh,
yourself animating more these days or doing
I you know what? I've been a little too busy to do like my own personal work right now as well as animation.
Mm,
Between my day gig and my and some freelance I've been doing, I
mhm,
have been a little too busy. That's one of the reasons I'm behind on Dax Photon.
mm.
Um, but my
Why
goal
don't
is,
you teach your kids how to do it and just do your work at your job? That's what I'm trying to
I wish I could.
that's what I always
My
said.
schedule is just crazy uh, when I'm at my day job. Um,
When I had my
but
comics class years ago with Gary Cohn, that's what I did. Whatever I was working on, just bring it in and just demo it.
well, that's I can't unfortunately do that.
Sorry, I just
But
thought
I
I'd
would I would love to animate more. I mean, my goal is, I don't want to say I want to leave comics, but I'd love to get back into
Mhm.
animation more than doing comic work.
Yeah.
And it depends, even if that's under the storytelling, like even if I'm not officially animating and I'm just writing stories or designing characters, I love the animation process. I have been thinking about getting back into gaming more. Um,
Mm.
I have, and not, I mean, not playing, I mean building. My first job, which I'm sure I told you about, was when I was 18, and I worked for a company that developed educational software.
Mm.
And so my job was to create characters, and we're going back. I'm telling you, the 1994. Even before Maya, I was using a program called Infinity. I don't know if you remember that program.
Infinity.
Yeah, Infinity. I actually liked it better because it was a vector-based program. So it wasn't like, oh no, not Infinity. Another one was vector-based, but it was a lot easier to edit and stuff.
Around there, I was just using the Illustrator.
Yeah.
The Illustrator.
But let's see. I got a comment from Noah. It says, "What building games do you play?" I don't play any games.
Like
I,
Minecraft or
I
Roblox.
yeah, I don't play any of that stuff. My nephew does.
Bronx
Uh,
Heroes is supposed to have one coming up. Working a Roblox game. We're just working on it. My
oh,
son,
really?
he's been working on it for 2 years. Just gotta get some coding on
That's
it.
great.
It's a short 3-level game.
Yeah.
You have Black Power, you have Heavy Traffic, you have Red Rage in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're like Legos,
Yeah.
I've been hounding him to finish it.
Who's oh, we got some comments here. So
That's
I
awesome.
for
On
some
Twitter?
reason I can't see comments on my Facebook page for some reason. So I got
Yeah.
to go. And so we got Joe Ryan. If you're still watching, thanks, says looks great, Michael. Will Torres says hola, hey Will.
Hey, what's up, Bill?
And Joe Griffo says, hey Mike, hey. So I hope you guys are still watching. I don't know how long ago those comments were. But yeah, I don't know why
Get
I
him.
have yeah.
He's like, forget you, Michael. You're not answering my comments.
But yeah,
I miss
so
everybody. I miss going to shows. I miss talking to Torres, and
yeah. What was I gonna
a lot of
say?
good
Yeah.
guys out there. This is that's the only bad thing about the pandemic. It's kind of slowing up my
Yeah.
mojo.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, hell, you always work like crazy during that stuff. You've been on my streams in the sorry. You've been on my streams in the past, and you're always working while you're chatting.
Yeah, I'm actually lettering right now.
So, and do you letter by hand or do you lettering
No, on Illustrator.
Okay.
I'm using this is like page. I'm almost done.
Oh, hold on. Let me give you the screen. Let's show your work, man.
I write by hand. This is the notebook.
Uh-huh.
And then I go in with the Illustrator and I use the text tool, and then I could mess with the fonts and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And Dan, the late Dan Croesus, actually gave me a bunch of fonts that I could play with.
Oh, did he?
And I got those that I've been using. Like
We might have to chat. I don't know if I have all the fonts. Dan gave me a few things, but I don't remember if they were ever fonts.
Yeah, he gave me some fonts on. I'm using the one that he liked was Face Front and Comic Crazy CC.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the ones I play between those two. But he gave me a bunch of them. But he told me those are the ones. The Face Front's kind of thin, but you get to put a lot of words in there. Like if you have to say a lot. So he gave me CC Wall words, a whole bunch of stuff. But
We'll talk. We'll talk later about them. You can pass them along.
Yeah,
I could always use some fonts.
Yeah, it's always good. I mean, they're good. I mean, I used to like Sergeant Six Pack, which was from Lamblots, that website.
Oh, Blambot. Yeah, I always use their was it Digital Strip, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that one a lot.
So ever since I stopped using Blamblots, I mean Sergeant Six Pack, ever since he gave me this one.
Yeah, no,
It's
he's
good.
and for those who don't know who Dan was, Dan Necrosis was an amazing talent in the comic industry and one of the best letterers you could ever know.
And he's missed like crazy.
Yeah,
we miss his Archie Bunker styled
attitude.
Tribes.
Yeah, Dan was always a little
I still remember he picked up that kid and put him in the trash can.
Oh, no, well don't say that. It was a joke. He did it jokingly, and the kid was totally cool.
It was funny.
And the kid was cool with it.
The kid was laughing, but I thought it was hilarious. We won't say where. But
yes.
Because he was a Yankee fan. I was like, hey.
Yeah, and Dan was a diehard Mets fan.
I was like, hey, Dan, he's 6. Calm down.
Yeah.
Because he was like, the Mets suck. And he was like, oh, really? He got angry. But he wore his emotions on his sleeve, as they say.
Yeah.
He didn't hide his feelings. He told you exactly what he thought.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I don't know how many times he says, "Hey Ray, we were talking about you. You're going to be fired today."
Yeah, he was good for that.
Yeah.
Especially making fun of you, you know. He made fun of everybody though. That was one of the great things about him. He knew how and when
Yeah. I think he
to
liked making fun of me because I would never get offended. I was like, okay, whatever. I just laugh.
Yeah.
Most people my age wouldn't. They'd get angry or upset. And,
Yeah, but you got to know Dan did it all in fun.
yeah.
It was always in fun.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, yeah. But, some people don't have a thick skin, I grew up in
yeah,
the
no.
Bronx. I think that helped. Everyone makes fun of everybody. Growing up, you have those dissing sessions. Everyone makes fun of each other,
Yeah.
And eventually somebody goes home crying,
Smaller brush here.
you know.
So,
Yeah. So, and I can see that in New Jersey, you have I would say a similar upbringing. He seemed like a street kid,
yeah. Although
Yeah.
I don't think the town he was from was really street, you know.
No, I mean, but you can tell that he is a street smart guy, Like
Oh, totally, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing so much here. I'm about to cover half of this up. I'm going to put a hat on him.
And this guy, you just kind of like impromptu, just making.
Yeah, just making them up as I go along.
Remember, he looks like a younger Gaston, from
Okay.
the movies.
I could see that.
Young Gaston with the little shirt, he just doesn't have the. This is before he went, before he was powerlifting.
Before he had his 5 dozen eggs every morning.
Yeah.
I don't
Have you
like the
seen
way
any
that's
good Disney cartoons lately?
Have I what?
Have you seen any good Disney cartoons or any cartoons?
I've been watching well on Disney Plus I've been rewatching Gargoyles.
Hmm.
I'm in season 2, but I stopped it because I went back to finish season 4 of My Hero Academia on Hulu.
Oh yeah, I've yet to
Because
sit down and watch the whole season yet.
yeah, and actually tomorrow on Monday, Valentine's Day, the English dubbed version comes out. So I'm waiting of season 5. So I'm waiting for that to come out to watch season 5.
Hmm.
Although it's probably not a good idea to watch it on Valentine's Day. So I'll wait until maybe, Wednesday or something, Tuesday or
Exactly.
Wednesday. Oh, we got a comment from who is this fat? Is it KR3 Fat Creep Supreme? Hey Ray, loved your interview on It Came from the Radio.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't remember what I said, but I'm I'm helpful to like inspire other people, then that's what I'm all about. You got to pass that
Oh.
torch. So, one of these days I might die of a stroke while shoveling snow or something.
Well, you should have your son doing it now, right?
Oh yeah, right. Getting a teenager to do anything. It's like he'll do like a little section. He was like, "I'm tired. I can't do this anymore." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I feel like I start channeling like my dead father, like all the things that he would say to me when I didn't want to do anything. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm turning into this old man." It's like I'm supposed to be young. Why am I turning old? Saying things my father would say to me. That's horrible. And then saying it to my son, I was like, he's gonna hate me. I already know. I'm like brooding my I'm grooming my nemesis. It's like I was like, I don't know, is that natural that fathers sons hate their fathers?
I don't know.
It's like
I don't know. I don't have a kid, so I can't say that. But I
I mean,
will
did you like your
say,
dad? Did you like you got along with your dad?
oh yeah, all the time. He's still around. We still get along.
Oh, he's around?
Yeah. He just in October was just his 80th birthday.
Oh.
So,
I didn't start getting along with my dad until I found out he had cancer.
oh no, my dad and I we get along great.
No,
Everyone says my dad and I are just alike. Are
yeah,
like exactly alike. So,
yeah.
he can't be all bad, right? if he's
Well,
like
I
me.
think the same thing, but, like, they said the same thing about me, but I didn't wanna admit that. When you're younger, you're like, "No, never
Yeah,
be
yeah, I know.
him." It's like,
It's funny too. They actually a lot of people say me and my dad look alike, but I look like my mom's side of the family. I think.
mm,
Um, I think it's because the glasses and everything. Oh, not the bald head. He's got hair.
I skipped a generation.
No, it's mine's all like medication side effects from
Is that what it
uh
is?
a little bit. My mom's side of the family, my grandfather, he was bald.
Mm.
But
They got more
um
proteins, yeah.
with everything I take for my kidney transplant and all that stuff, um I was actually I'm still on it. I've been on prednisone since I was 18 years old.
Oh,
Um
no. Do you
they
wanna know
give you
something?
they give you prednisone back when I had my first transplant in 94.
Right.
Prednisone was a common drug they gave you, and they didn't take you off of it. Now they take you off of it after a while.
Yeah, it causes
Uh,
cancer, that's why.
well, I know, but I'm only on 5 milligrams now. But
Mm.
what happened
Okay.
was,
The bearer of bad news, but that's what my dad was on. He was on
yeah.
prednisone, got cancer.
Well, you know what? I get what I get. I've had enough medical issues. My life, I'll lose weight faster than I don't know. I mean, but
You're gonna live a long time, don't worry.
yeah. But
Don't worry.
what happened was
I don't mean to
my
jinx you there, sorry.
no, it's okay. In my second they tried to remove me from it, but I was on it for 11 years at that time. And my body stopped producing the chemical that prednisone is, that's steroid.
Mm,
And and what's it called? So they had to keep me on. After they got me down to like 2 milligrams or a little bit above 2 milligrams, I started getting sick and I was actually hospitalized. So my body can't do without prednisone. I actually saw a doctor, one of my doctors, on Friday,
mm.
and she was asking, we should try to get you off of prednisone, and I'm like, I can't. She's like, yep, you're right. If you've been on it that long, you can't get off of it. But now, if you have a
It's gonna be
transplant, you'll be on it for like a month or two, maybe a little longer, and then they wean you off, and you don't need it anymore.
right, because it's just
But
like, it changes your body chemistry. You could probably get off of it, but you'd have to have a really serious regimented monitoring of your as you're cutting it down. It would take a long
yeah,
time, though. You'd need a
well,
doctor to monitor you.
yeah. Well, we got a comment. Let's take a look here. It's from
That's how you know
I,
we're
I
old. We talk about health problems.
that creeps the princess. Ray, when's your next Bronx Heroes, and what is your favorite anime? Both you and Michael. So you go first. And when's your next
Um,
Bronx Heroes
we
and
were
the anime?
supposed to do one in March, but with the library, but I have to call them this week because with the COVID, I haven't promoted it at all because of the whole COVID situation, and I was just assuming that they would cancel on me. So, um, in January, I was going to announce that we were going to do a Bronx Heroes in March, and then I decided, well, with the Omicron thing going crazy, I might have to push it into April. But
Hmm.
even April's too close now because we're already in mid-February, right? Is it
Yeah,
mid-February? Almost mid-February, right?
yeah.
Valentine's week is coming up.
It's this week. It's tomorrow.
So I think I might have to push it into May or June. But I need to start advertising it, promoting it. And I also was going to help the ladies do their women in comics as well. The women that are taking over the Bronx Heroes faction of the women in comics.
Okay.
And then they're doing a lot of different stuff as well. So it's kind of like trying to like one lady has a residency and she's like she's going to leave the state like in another state doing
Okay.
an artist residency and then so it's a matter of just getting everyone together and because of COVID I think people are afraid to get together. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
It's a matter of just getting everything all arranged. I mean everything is I could do it with my eyes closed to be honest.
Yeah.
um,
Well, you've done it. How many years have you done the show?
the first one was in 2009.
Okay.
So yeah, that's over 10 years. That's like 12 years, right? Something
Yeah.
like that. 13 years, something like that. So it's
Yeah,
a
going on 13 this year.
there's another Bronx show. I actually was chatting with some guy who's going to do a collector's show in the Bronx in East Tremont. I thought that was cool. And I believe
Cool.
he did one a few months ago and it was okay. So people do come out. The thing about the Bronx is it's a different animal than all these other cons because you're really trying to you want people in the comics community to be there. like
Mm.
vendors and so forth. But the audience is very diverse and different from other comic book shows.
Yeah.
You have a very small percentage of Bronx people who will go to like a Brooklyn show or a Manhattan show. I mean, unless they're true comic book or animation fans or something like that.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about when I do the Bronx shows that you're really getting the community in there and people that live there that don't normally do these shows, but so it's like you always find new people that never been to a show before, and that's what I like about it. It's a whole another audience. So
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done a show in the Bronx.
you never came to a Bronx Heroes?
I don't think when you were doing them, we knew each other.
No, definitely. I've known you for a long time. Maybe you're doing Kids Comic Con. That's why.
Yeah, we've done Kids Comic Con, but
Yeah, we've done Kids Comic Con. Yeah. I don't know if he's still. I know he's doing some virtual stuff there too.
yeah, I think it's a lot more virtual at the moment
Yeah.
for a lot of people. I mean, I haven't visited a school
Hmm.
like with going for my Get in Tune business and traveling and teaching kids in a while, but I have done a lot of virtual tutoring.
Hmm.
I just did a couple the other day. Actually, last Wednesday I did one, and I actually like it. I sometimes prefer the virtual stuff over being in person.
Hmm.
No traveling, no no other issues I have to deal with.
Nice.
Traffic, you know me when I drive. Uh, so I'm not always the what's the word we're looking for here? The calmest driver on the planet. Uh, so
I can attest to that.
yeah, my nephew just found. I was talking to my nephew the other day, and it just started like yelling and screaming like I normally do when I drive. And he's like, "You've always told me you have your road rage," and I'm like, "I don't officially have road rage. It's not like I attack people or yell at people where they can hear me. It's more
You're
just
screaming in your bubble.
yeah, it's just me in the car, like getting whatever anger out I've had for the day. You
Right,
know,
right, right, right.
it's nothing. Oops,
No, I
sorry.
make sure they hear me.
Yeah. So no, I've always had this thing,
I
in
have
my
so
head. You don't know who carries, like, weapons and who's crazy enough to follow you and stuff, so
yeah, well, I did something a little goes out of the Dukes of Hazzard one time. This guy was honking me at a red light, and there was like literally like stacks of cars trying to get into the GWB. Is like, why are you honking me? Like, no one's moving. It's gridlock, like literally bumper to bumper. So I just opened the
yeah,
car door to like just let him like, hey, I'm gonna come out. You keep it up. I had no
yeah,
intentions of coming out. But I just opened the door.
yeah,
He's just honking more. And then I got out. I was like, hey, what's your problem?
yeah. Um,
And then I got back in the car, and then traffic starts to move up, and I start slowly moving in because you're bumper to bumper. You want to give some people some space. And the
yeah,
guy totally like tries to cut me off. He's a van, right? But he doesn't know measurements, right? It's a construction van. You think they would know math, right?
yeah.
Uh, and the guy literally clips my bumper uh, and scrapes the side of my car while trying to cut me off, and then takes off. So then he starts making all these illegal, crazy turns, trying to get ahead. And I was really mad. I was like, "Wow, this guy just wrecked my car." So my wife was like, "Oh, just leave it alone." I was like, "No way, I'm going
You
after him."
have to
So me being the psycho that I can be, on the road. The Bronx came out of me. You can take the boy out of the Bronx, but you can't take the Bronx out of the boy. So he actually went ahead and, I paused for a while to get out the car to look at the damage that he did. And then he was
mhm,
like 20 or 30 cars ahead. And there was no way I was going to get up to him if I tried to like stay in the same lane. So when the light turned red, I literally pulled out of the lane and went into the opposite side of the
oops.
opposite oncoming traffic.
Jeez, Ray, you're nuts.
They had a red light. There were no one was coming. And there was a cop at the end of the street too. And then I matched up to where that guy was. And when the traffic started moving, the light turned green, I literally put my car sideways, blocking his car from moving.
Jeez. You're a nut job. I've never even been that. See, that's not me. I may be like in the car and using colorful language
Yeah.
and yelling and stuff, but I'm
and I called the cops on them, and the cop who was on the corner came over. He's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Look at the damage this guy gave me in my car." Blah blah blah. We were back and forth, but that went nuts. I mean, I literally broke his mirrors.
Wow. No reckless driving, nothing from.
No, the cop let me off. He saw the guy hit the car and drove off. Like I caught him literally like a quarter of a mile later, and
Yeah.
right by the bridge entrance.
Why isn't this showing up?
And I took his mirrors out.
Wow.
I took it with my.
Yeah, you guys don't. This is a rule here. Don't piss Ray off when you're driving. I thought I was the problem.
Oh, I was
Don't.
bad. Don't. This is what happens when you don't drink coffee anymore. It's like the raging Hulk comes out. No, he really wrecked my car and then tried to take it off. And it was really silly too, because it's one of these construction vehicles. He had his address and phone number on the side of the door. It's like,
yeah.
so it's like, where are you gonna go? I could just follow you. Just Google your address and follow you there.
So we got still a couple more questions here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saving my file right now. We still haven't answered part 2. What is your favorite anime?
My all-time favorite, and I have a lot of favorite animes. But
Okay.
my all-time favorite, number one classic, is Akira, hands down, because it was hand-drawn. Second one was Evangelion, which also was hand-drawn, but there was some computer to it as well. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think my third favorite would be Death Note.
Okay.
But there's way more. It's hard to choose. Like, there's like hundreds of anime that I love.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I actually yesterday, and I don't know if it, when I have nostalgia for it. I don't know if I like the show too much anymore. I watched the first episode yesterday again. Battle of the Planets.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite.
I think that was one of those cartoons for me. As a kid, that I was like, this is amazing. It was different than watching like Yogi Bear and the Flintstones. So I was like really attracted. I love the idea of the characters. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching. I only watched the first episode yesterday, and I'm like, I gotta watch more. But did I really like this cartoon? Like, I'm sorry, what?
I got the Japanese edition of those. Like, they had a box set that was released in America. Yeah. But the American box release was the American version that was on TV in America.
Yeah.
And I got the Japanese one, which is they're talking in Japanese with English subtitles, but it's all the violence and heads being chopped off.
Yeah, it's a lot different when the American culture is a lot different than the
Japanese. I mean, even Pokemon was edited to death too.
Oh, I'm sure. I was never a Pokemon fan, so I can't say.
What? How could you say that? Pokemon's awesome. I was right there when it started.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, I accidentally clicked on. Come on. Oh, it's not letting me close out now. Uh-oh. There it goes. I don't know what I accidentally clicked on the Facebook where the show, where the stream was going.
You never collected the Pokeballs or anything like that?
No, that was after I was late high school, I think, or early college when Pokemon came out.
I was in college, and my girlfriend at the time was Japanese, loved Pokemon, so she made me get everything. Like, we were in Burger King at midnight, and people were fist fighting in the like Marshall Parkway in the Bronx. There was literally a fist fight over Pokemon, like in a Burger King.
I could believe that. I really can believe that. I just never had the what's the word I'm looking for?
Like the ball with the little card, the metal card it came with, and then I had the JAL Airlines book bag, which I gave away like foolishly. I bet you that's worth a lot of money now. JAL Airlines came out with, they had a Pokemon jet plane, and if you flew first class, you would get a Pokemon bag for free, right? Like a book bag, and it was limited. So my ex worked for JAL Airlines. She dressed as a stewardess, but she worked in the offices in Manhattan. So I got the bag.
Yeah.
like through JAL Airlines connections. So it's like, and I love that bag, but I gave it to this little kid one time, like years ago. Now
Yeah,
she's probably in her 20s, but
and it's funny. First of all, let's go to the comments. I'm assuming it's Fat Creep. It's Fat KR33P
mhm,
uh Supreme. He says, "I love Battle of the Planets as a kid.
mhm.
I always thought the main villain was wearing gloss lipstick. He did look like that.
He did. He was he
Yeah,
was he was a transgender before
yeah,
transgender.
yeah."
Yeah, he was a transgender Batman.
And then he says, "Ray, your artwork looks influenced by Akira. It looks similar."
And,
Um,
I'm influenced, like, when I look at artists to copy, I don't really look at American artists unless it's Kirby or Eisner, those two guys.
yeah.
But I really look at Japanese artwork, super influenced by um, what's his name, Atomo, right?
Hmm.
Akira's Atomo, and I look a lot at Chinese artists. Like, I love Chinese comics too. There
Yeah.
was a big boom of Chinese comics in the early 2000s, and then it disappeared. But I love what's his name, Tony Wong.
Okay.
Tony Wong. I love a lot of these guys, like the Storm Riders. What is it called? I can't remember. I can't remember the titles, but War of the Gods or something like that, or Weapons of the Gods. Yeah,
Hmm.
those guys. But what's funny is that the Americans never got the really good artwork. We just got the beginning. There was I think they called it Sunrise Comics, and I bought everything on that, but we never got the deep ones. I literally went to Taiwan because my wife's from Taiwan, and I literally bought boxes, like shipped boxes back to the United States of all these what they call manhwa over there.
Hmm.
They don't say manga, but it's manhwa, and then
Yeah.
shipped tons of these Chinese comic books back to the United States. So I mean, I love it. They're great stuff.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny when I taught college like full time.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of my students thought I hated anime or manga, whatever you want to call it, because to me
Hmm.
it's the same thing. It's just whether it's animated or printing.
Hmm.
Um, because that's the only style they drew in.
Hmm.
Everybody's influence. Oh, it's anime or manga. They would tell me all about these shows, and I'm like, no. You need to learn how to be diverse in your style. You need to understand actual
Hmm.
how to draw. And I remember sitting down with a couple of kids one day, and I drew a character like Fred Flintstone, and then I drew, um, you know, like I drew Fred Flintstone, I drew Bugs Bunny, I drew Superman, and then I drew some manga character, and I'm like,
Hmm.
it's because I understand how to draw, how to understand how shapes go together. When you understand that, you can draw anything.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
really can. And but all these people, it's because I outlawed that style in my class to help my students improve. That's
What's
all.
the manga style?
Yeah, I didn't want that style in the classroom.
No, you're prejudiced.
I wasn't prejudiced. I listen. There are some kids who drew amazing stuff. I want it, but you have to be a little bit more.
But you're right. But at the same time, I think Americans,
Mhm.
not you, but
Yeah.
Americans in the industry have always been against manga.
Well, we
But
got we got a friend who
look
doesn't
what's
like.
taking over the world. Like, manga
Yeah,
is the number one anime art form in the world.
yeah.
I
I
knew.
mean, listen, the storytelling, for me, it's not even the artwork, it's the storytelling. The way the Japanese tell stories,
Yeah,
especially in print, is
yeah,
so because when the videos, if you watch an anime, I'd rather just watch the dubbed version of the traditional
mhm,
anime. I don't want it edited because when
yeah.
you edit it, that's when you get crappy shows in America here.
I used to watch it with the subtitles. I didn't like the
Yeah.
dubs so much, but then
Mm.
it's hard for me to focus on, like, now as I'm older, it's hard for me to watch something and not fall
Yeah.
asleep. So like, I gotta be working. So then I'll do the dub now because.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first got Akira, there was a guy from SVA. I was still in high school. I was on the subways where this is like how we exchange anime, because you couldn't turn on the TV and there was no anime. It didn't exist. There was no anime network or Toonami or anything like that. So my brother knew a guy in SVA. My brother went to SVA as well. He was
Mhm.
there, like, I think a year and a half or 2 years before me. And then we were literally on a train and we reached out time before cell phones. Like we just said, okay, we'll meet on the platform or on the train around this time. And then we went right down SVA, got on the train, and the guy pulls out of his book bag. Oh, he had all these videotapes, and he gave me a videotape of Akira, and I was like, wow, that's great. Like the movie, right?
Yeah.
This is before I hit the theater. And then we got home, no subtitles. It was straight up in Japanese. And I watched it without the subtitles 6 or 7 times in a row. That's
Wow.
how much I love that movie. Even
It's a great film. You know, I was on Tubi today. I was just looking for stuff on Tubi, and that's on there.
oh,
And I was
really?
like, I got to sit down and watch it. Um,
'Cause it's just
but
hand drawn, like all that's hand drawn
yeah,
is
it's
goes in
gorgeous, and
blank.
I just haven't. I was like, I'm not gonna have the time today to watch it, or at least right now, because I was doing stuff, and
Yeah.
like I want to sit down and focus. Like I was prepping dinner, and I was
Mhm.
like on my birthday, I did a Lord of the Rings marathon. I was watching that on my phone because I've seen it a dozen times and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like,
Do you like Lord of the Rings better than The Hobbit or The Hobbit better than Lord of the
are you
Rings?
talking a movie or the books?
The movies.
The
Books are better.
movies, Lord of the Rings is better than The Hobbit. The books, though,
Books are boring, but it's like it's like
the book. I mean, The Hobbit is one of my favorite books.
yeah. I read The
Uh,
Hobbit. I was just like, oh my God. I don't know if I finished it. I don't remember, but
I have like 2 copies of it somewhere in
but
here,
if you could read Beowulf and the Iliad and the Odyssey, you can get through those.
which I read.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I never finished like the Iliad. That's too much for me. But
Yeah.
I did read a lot of. I read basically like the like what do they call them? The Cliff Notes. Now they have Spark Notes or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I read the
You know,
full book. I mean, I read the Bible twice.
I've read the Bible. Yeah,
When I
it's
was a kid, because I was like, I started. The only way I got through it was like imagining it like a comic book. It's like,
yeah. Hold on, let's see. We got a comment again from Fat Creep Supreme. He says, "I agree. Once you understand the shapes and drawing, and just add the necessary details, it's half the battle. Having a full-time job and a full-time family man, how hard is it to accomplish a comic book?" I'm going to you, Ray, for that because I do have a full-time job, but I don't have kids. So
yeah. I think when I had my first kid, I was 20. I was really young. No, when she was pregnant, I was 20. When the kid came out, I was like 21. When it came out, it's hello. It's like hello world. Um, that I thought that my career as an artist was over, but it
mhm,
actually inspired me to work harder. Like I
mhm,
had a reason to draw, so I didn't have. That was the end of me being a slacker and drawing here and there, dabbling,
mhm.
hobbying around. I'm not saying for people to go have kids and just, but that was a motivator for me. Like if I want to do this, I got to do this right because this kid needs money.
Yeah,
I got to feed this kid. So that was a big influencer, and I cranked out so much work. I mean, and I was a workhorse even before the kid was born.
yeah,
But knowing that there was a child on the way, that made me hustle. Like I hustled like no tomorrow, and that's when I did A World Without Superheroes. I did
too much.
God: The Second Coming. That was my first book that I printed before World Without Superheroes. And it's funny. There's a book called Second Coming now, but I haven't read it.
You're always ahead of your time, Ray.
Yeah, for real, for real. But it was the Return of Jesus in a comic book. But mine was more parody comic stuff. I don't think that's a comedy, right? That Second Coming book, is it
I don't know.
serious?
I haven't read it. I don't.
So,
Unfortunately, I don't read as much as I'd like to.
mhm, yeah. And then I did a bunch of other stuff. So I think being a parent made me prioritize. Time management is key. I mean, the biggest crutch I have is television because I was never really a big television watcher growing up, and even in my
Mhm.
20s, I didn't really have a TV.
Yeah,
Well, now, since I've moved upstate, ever since I got married to my wife, she always wanted to have TV or cable, and that does slow you down because there's so many distractions.
yeah,
So, now you got like Book of Boba Fett and all these other shows, and Raised by Wolves, and it's like an endless binge. It's like the '80s all over again. Like there's too many
yeah,
good shows that you can't not watch. But it is distracting because when there was no television in my life, I'd get home, draw till I fall asleep, wake up, go to work, feed the kids, get the kids to school.
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back, get back on the book, get back on the book, get back on the book, get back on the book.
yeah,
Um, the television is really a crutch. I mean, it's nice to watch those shows and know what's happening and stuff, but it's like the weather. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna hear about it even though you don't watch it because so many people are watching it that you're gonna hear it.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but like I mean, I think it's great. Like I just saw. Did you see the book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, I was on a Facebook stream, well, Facebook YouTube stream about it.
It was
The day it ended, it was a good,
I
great.
don't know. People kept saying it was boring and slow. I thought it was fantastic, and the way it ended just paid off. I think,
Yeah,
but it just goes to show you that people need a green puppet in their life or a muppet in their life to make things interesting.
I mean, listen, it was a good story for what it was. I mean, what a lot of people I think don't realize, and I think we talked about this. I said you need to watch it as a mob story.
Yeah, it's basically
It.
The Godfather.
That's what I'm saying. I felt like I was watching a Star Wars Godfather,
Yeah, it's The
and
Godfather in space plus spaghetti western plus Lone
yeah.
Wolf and Cub. It's like
Well, yeah, it's always been Mandalorian was always Lone Wolf
yeah,
and Cub. Yeah,
and Lone Wolf and Cub. Yeah, I
so.
mean, it's all the tropes mixed together.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, it was fantastic. I had a lot of fun watching it. Um,
Yeah, Frank
uh,
Miller made a career out of gangsters, robots, and ninjas,
yeah.
right?
Hold on, I'm gonna stop the share for a little bit here. I need to rest my arm. Anything you want to show off right now, art wise?
Yeah, I guess I can go through the pages. I don't. Let me see if I can connect the camera and turn it.
Hmm.
I'll do that.
Okay. I mean, if it's digital, you can always share your screen here.
Oh no, but I don't. I work on my old computer. Ironically,
Hmm.
I got Photoshop on my laptop, but it doesn't have a lot of memory. So I'm actually working on my old school computer, which
Okay.
doesn't really go online that often.
Hmm.
Um, and it's actually better that way. I save a lot of space and time. Ooh, there we
Hmm.
go. So
Let me give you the screen, Ray.
yeah, so this is my old Mac from 2009.
Yeah.
So this is like some of the pages. It's a little bright. Let me look.
And who's the artist on this?
Oh, this is me. This is all me.
Oh, this is you. Okay.
I always take priority, and let me turn this little light off over here. That's what it is. It's too. All right, so here we go. So this is punchline number. What's this? Adobe here. I must have clicked something over here. This is the punchline book here. Let me move the pages around. Now, is it too dark, or how is it now?
No, it's fine. You just
Okay. This
keep
thing
it
just-
steady so it doesn't.
I don't know what this
blur.
Adobe Air thing is. It just popped up. All of a sudden, I just clicked this thing. All right. So I just try to lower the opacity on the screen. So this is number 8. And I added a lot of digital epitone in this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the put the hand tool out. So this is like the last. This is this finale where all the Bronx heroes, punchline, the dragon and the sparrow come out. It's called the Three Ages. And if anyone read the first 4 issues of Punchline, all the titles were named after the Marx Brothers shows. And in this volume 2, all the titles of the stories are named after Buster Keaton.
That's great.
movies.
I didn't know you were a fan of like that old stuff like that.
Oh yeah. In fact, issue 10, I want to do like a tribute to Buster Keaton.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's going to be called Buster Keaton is Dead.
I love all that old stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, and so this is just like talking about Akira, you have like this whole like street fight here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, it's like I try to really go into there. Like I was never really a background person when I was like let me see if I can lighten it up a little bit. And then you pull out to like all the way, you have these little tiny guys here, and then you come out and you have this full on fight, like a street fight, kind of like you'd see like in some of Eisner's New York artwork,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to have like this full on street fight where everything's going on. You got these little jughead looking guys here. And it's like basically all the Bronx heroes, and you got Panther X and all the groups, superheroes that created over the years, finally get together and start fighting one another and fighting the bad guy, the pantomime, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then DC ripped this story off. They called it the Joker War, you know. And this was actually the story that I submitted to them back in 2005, you know, which I won't get into, but if you read the Joker War, you'll see a lot of parallels. Where in this one, I'm using the same script, you know. So you got Black Power here, you got, you know, and so this is what I mean. Like this pose here, I think I drew this on the subway. One of the few times I ride the train, you know, these days. Most of the time I'm driving, but I was just really inspired by like this dynamic Kirby-like pose, you know, or like, and then these poses are very Chinese comic book, you know, like very dynamic Alex Ross type shots, you know.
Fat Creep says that looks awesome, Ray. Love the details.
Oh, thank you. And then, you know, the first one was just black and white comics, you know, it was like, and I was like, well, you know, I wish I had a bunch of Zeppatone. I had a conversation with Tom Ahern, and I was like, I wish I had some Zeppatone. And I was like, wait a minute, I got Photoshop. I could do Photoshop Zeppatone.
Yeah, you just set up a halftone. That's actually one of the things I like about Clip Studio Paint. There are Zipatone effects. You can even, and I think you could do this for Photoshop. Download Zipatone brushes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think you could find them. Whether you got to pay for them or not, I don't know. But I know Clip Studio Paint opens Photoshop brushes, or at least it used to. So I have a bunch of brushes. Back before Adobe bought the Kyle Webster brushes, I bought some of his brushes, and the stuff that I really love to use. I actually got to bring it into, like, I have a pencil he calls the animation pencil, but it feels like I'm drawing just like with my pencil at home. I love it. Oh, that's awesome! I love that piece right there, that panel.
Yeah, it's all everything's zepped. I was just like, because I've done gradation before, like grayscale, and I was like, well, grayscale's not like this is all zepped. Like you see, every panel is dotted, everything.
Yeah.
And I learned a trick, you know, because I was like, you know, I'm gonna just drop a gradient down, like, you know, on the whole thing, and I'll take my burn and dodge tool and just burn and dodge it throughout, and just create and then I'll turn it into different zeps. I'll select which ones have different, you know, you want to differentiate a little bit.
Oh, you don't do the halftone, the color halftone stuff?
Like I do the halftone, but I do it in grayscale. So
yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like if you look at my Get in Tune logo that's on here, I don't know if I have a bigger one. If I just go, let me see if I can bring something up real quick. Not banners, brand. Do I have it in the images? So like this, I'm just gonna put this up real quick. Oh, that's awesome right there. That's a great punch.
Like that. And then because of Dan, I've been encouraged to do more words and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like here, look at this here. So on the screen here, I have my Get in Tune logo. That is a Zipatone. That's a halftone effect I did in Photoshop. Oh, his device is not connected anymore. Let's give him a moment. This is my, by the way, for those guys watching, this is my, when I stream quite a bit and I have to put something up. This is what I put up because this is, it's like I have to get some water, run to the bathroom, something like that. But, and Ray, you're back.
No, whenever the laptop, I don't know. It's like I guess when you move it around, the moving part, they go crazy.
So yeah, up here, this is my halftone effect I did.
Yeah, I heard you the whole thing. That's
okay. All right, I didn't know if you saw. So
yeah, I did. I do the exact same thing with the halftone, and then I try to. But I also do different. I notice if you do a gradient, the gradient, the gradient really determines how much you how many dots are controlled, right? So you can do different gradients and you can manipulate it. I also do like the filter gallery gradients. I play with that too. Because you can adjust the dotting, you know?
Yeah.
You know, for skin tone, like Black Power is black. And first I was like, well, I was just doing like sections, not coloring the entire page. So in the beginning, like issues 5, 6, it was more black and white art and accents of Zepatone,
Yeah.
like how it was traditionally used. By issue 8, I'm like, oh, screw it, I want to just go full on, and I just did different tones. So I could have did the whole book in color and then Zepatone it, and I tried that, and that actually had a different effect because once it's in color, like RGB or CMYK, like you see how your letters are and they look very neat, but when you
Yeah.
grayscale that, you can't really control it. It looks different.
Yeah.
So I noticed that coloring a page Zepatone wise and then transferring it into grayscale doesn't look the same as if you just do it straight on grayscale while the file's grayscale,
Hmm.
because the color has like certain attributes to it that don't disappear even though it's grayscaled. um you know what I mean? I think we're more
Yeah.
color
No, I know
conscious.
exactly what you're saying.
So you're more color conscious, and
Yeah.
you're trying to differentiate your color palette and putting it down, and then you
Yeah.
grayscale it and then Zepatone it. It
Hmm.
looks totally different if you just grayscale from the beginning and just
Well,
Zepatone the space of blue.
that's why with the way I was working with this thing I was drawing today was
Mhm.
I was playing with color. Color is hard for me. It's
Yeah.
always been hard for me.
Aren't you
Um,
colorblind?
yeah, well, it's really called shade blindness. I see colors
Oh,
when they start
sorry.
blending.
Was
No,
that
it's okay.
derogatory of me?
What?
Was that derogatory of me? You're
No,
colorblind.
no. I'm just saying what it is really is a shade blindness. Like I see
Right.
colors,
Right.
but when they start blending, I have trouble telling them apart.
Right.
You know,
Interesting.
and so like I can see like someone can show me something that's pure blue, and I'll be like, that's blue. But when
Right.
you start mixing it with other colors, I can't tell when the blue becomes purple, or something. I have trouble
Yeah.
with that. I can't tell like green and gray. Like sometimes even green it has a reddish tint to me. Like when I see grass a lot of the times, it's not green grass,
Mm.
it's orange to me.
Yeah.
So
It
like
depends
I
on the season,
see
right?
what?
It depends on the season, right?
Yeah, exactly. But like with traffic lights, usually the color green
Mm.
looks white to me. So like I know it's a white, like I can see traffic
Interesting.
lights, but I usually can't see the green of a traffic light. I can see it as white,
Interesting.
you
But
know.
you
So
identify that white is green and it's not
yeah,
white.
exactly. Otherwise I'd probably be dead right now and I probably would have hit a bunch
So
of people and
no pilot school for you. You're not going
yeah, no. It's actually funny when I was what's it called? In high school, and you go to those college fairs and there's always like the military there, and I remember talking to, I think it was the Air Force.
Yeah, the Air Force.
And I was never going to go into the military. I respect everyone in there, but I don't think it's something I could physically do.
Yeah.
And I remember, and when I told them they're colorblind, they basically told me to move along. You
Yeah.
know, uh,
Get out of here.
yeah, but and
Get out
and
of
I
here,
think
you purple.
and then I think I told you. I think I might have told you this story. I remember getting a phone call, and it was from the army, and they're telling me how they're going to pay for their college. They're like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I want to become an animator." And they said, What's that?" I said, people who draw like Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny." They said, "Oh, sorry," and they hung up on me. Uh,
Well, now you can say pharmaceutical commercials
yeah,
and
but
animation's used for everything now,
yeah, exactly. But
I'm trying to
what?
convince my students that drug dealing is not the way to go. Like you can make
Well,
more money
that's
animating than
yeah.
selling drugs on the corner. I'm like,
Um,
man, no, that's not real. That's not real money.
but I just wanted to let me just get back to the military. I talked to someone once when I was working at the college, and we
Right.
had like a career fair or whatever for the kids.
Mm.
And I was talking to someone, I forget what branch of the military it was, but I was talking to them, and I told them I was colorblind. And do you now know they bring colorblind people into the military because they're good with maps?
Oh,
They can
really?
see they colorblind people can see patterns supposedly better
Mm.
than regular people because of the way their eyes work, the patterns and colors on maps
So you're like
pop
a
out
3D
or
glasses. You're like a 3D
yeah,
natural
I
3D
guess I
glasses.
don't know.
You
I've
got a red
never
and blue.
I remember going to a to like one of those corn mazes, like do the those mazes where all like the hay is put up high and stuff, and you got to get out. And there were clues to tell you which direction to go. And I was with a group of people, and they're like, "Michael, what's this one?" Because I was doing pretty good on the clues. And I go to it, and I'm like, I can't tell you. Like, why not? I said, because it's all about finding color. I couldn't find the color. Like, someone else has to do this one for me. We wouldn't, So,
My
but
cousins wanted to be in the. My dad was in the Air Force, and my dad was about recruiting everybody. He tried to recruit me. I was like, no, I'm not killing anybody. Sorry,
yeah,
I don't need to be told what to do. You've been telling me what to do my whole life. I was born into the military. I was in the Sea Cadets as a kid, and I was being yelled at all the time. That's like ROTC.
hmm
I was an ROTC kid, and I hated it every minute of it.
really. I
I
don't
didn't
picture you one of those. I can't picture you in
I was.
ROTC.
I was in
Wow,
ROTC by force from the 6th grade all the way into like middle school.
wow.
I hated it. And then so of course I'm not gonna hey, I'm moving out of my house. Like, yeah, I just been told my whole life that I being told what to do by my parents. I'm gonna go and have somebody else tell me what to do. So I was like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And then I was in like organized cult, like Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were telling me what to do. It's like I'm tired of people telling me
Well,
what to do.
you're always gonna find that there's
Yeah.
I mean, you go through. You might get like 5 minutes in life of where you get to make your own decisions. Then you get married, right? And then
No, I call the shots. So. My wife thinks you think the trick is you have to make them think that they're calling the shots. It's a sleight of hand, right? Sleight of hand.
We got in fact Creep says, "Are you guys excited for the Amazon Lord of the Rings?" I'll let you go
Yeah,
first, right? Right.
I saw the
I
trailer. I thought it was cool.
Well, the trailer came out today officially during the Super Bowl, I believe, right? So it hasn't officially come out
No,
yet.
I saw
They
the
had a,
trailer.
they had a teaser out. I know that, but like the
Yeah.
official trailer is supposed to drop during the Super Bowl.
Oh, is that right? Are you
Yeah.
watching the Super Bowl today? Is that on now?
No, I do not watch sports in general.
Me neither. I don't care about that. Must have
I've
some
never
money
been.
on it.
What?
Must have had some money on it. I
Yeah,
think,
no, I've never been a sports fan. I played as a kid. I stopped probably playing sports by 6th grade.
mm,
I was doing basketball. I remember I was doing basketball and studying martial arts, and my parents made me make a choice. I went to martial arts.
mm-hmm.
Um, and but I just never. But even when I played, I never watched sports. I found it more fun to play than to watch, so I never paid attention
Yeah,
to what was going on. I mean, I can always follow a game. It's not like I don't understand the rules, but they don't interest me.
right.
I'd rather rewatch Lord of the Rings, but um,
It does look
but
good though, from what
yeah,
I've
but
seen.
also my take right now I have mixed reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I haven't seen enough to say it's got me excited.
Mm,
Like, but I am a big Lord of the Rings fan. Like, I love Tolkien. I have a bunch of I won't say a bunch, but I got a good amount of his books. I've read stuff. A lot of my time is spent when I'm on YouTube is spent
mhm.
looking at Tolkien mythology, the mythology that he created, and what happened to the characters, and
Did you like
learning
the
more.
Wheel of Time? Did you ever read those series? That
I
was the.
haven't read it, but I know they have an Amazon show, Wheel of Time, right now,
It's pretty
and
good.
I tried watching it once, but I think I was distracted, so I'm like, I got to sit down
Hmm.
and watch it. I hear a lot of good things about it.
Yeah,
Um,
Game of Thrones ripped off
yeah,
Wheel of Time, so it's like,
yeah. Well, but I wasn't a Game of Thrones fan.
no,
I wanted to be. It sounds like something I would love.
you would
Dragons,
love it.
all
I
that
mean,
stuff.
all the actors that are in all these new Star Wars incarnations are
Mhm.
from the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Like all the actors, and
Yeah,
even the Avengers movies. A lot of the Avengers movies that have been coming out. A lot of those guys are from Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Well, look at what was it, Eternals? What's his name was in it?
Yeah, those are
Yeah,
two guys. Yeah,
and he's coming in playing uh
Robert Stark,
yeah, but he no what's his name? The one who played
Icarus,
no, he wasn't
Icarus, and the
Icarus.
Black Knight. They're
The
both.
Black Knight, the one who's playing the Black Knight. He was like the one
He
of the
was
lead
John,
actors.
and
Yeah.
Icarus was also. He was his brother. Icarus
Oh,
was. was
that's true. That's right. I forgot about that.
yeah.
But
Good.
the
I think he looks a lot like the guy who plays Bucky, though. I thought that was the Bucky guy at first. These guys look alike.
yeah.
Right? Now that I said it, you can't get that out of your head.
I have to look at him again. But yeah, he did have
He looks
a
like Stan
different look to
Shaw.
him. Yeah, but that I don't know. I don't want to talk about Eternals. That movie bothered me.
You know what's funny? That movie bothered me so much
Mhm.
because people were like, "This is how you do a Justice League movie." It's like, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, you stole the
Yeah.
speed sequences was right out of Justice League's Flash Injustice video game. There
Yeah.
was another scene that when Icarus was like fighting somebody, and then that was like Doomsday versus Superman and Injustice. There's
Yeah.
like two sequences they took from Justice League. Not only did they just, and they called him Superman multiple times. It's like,
Yeah, it's you know what it was?
yeah,
Here's my problem with any movie. And this has happened not just with these type, but like it's a Kirby movie.
yeah,
It should have been a Kirby movie. They should have done, and I'm not saying do the Kirby story, but show more Kirby influence. You know, like, and I don't know. I know we talked. I think we talked about this when we did the private stream where we were all hanging out. I don't know if you were on at the time, but one of the reasons Superman the animated series worked is because they built it off Kirby's
yeah,
art. They built it off, and they made Darkseid the villain. When you
yeah.
do the Justice League, and you don't give Kirby, what he created his due,
Yeah.
then you're failing. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying, oh, because it wasn't Kirby, it was a terrible movie.
No,
I'm
it
saying
was.
he created
Yeah,
no,
that's exactly it. That's why it
but
was a terrible
yeah,
movie.
but he created something. He created mythology for both Marvel and DC.
Yeah. And the thing
And
is this, had they stuck to his story, because
Mm.
they motivated me to buy the omnibus of the Eternals, and I'm
Yeah.
loving it. And there is a lot that they left that was his, but they didn't. But they did like 10%, 90%,
Yeah.
I think if they did, like, I call that the Snyder cut from Marvel. As Marvel's like, we can imitate the Snyder. The only reason why they made the Eternals is because DC announced that they were doing the New Gods. That was the only reason.
Yeah.
That was the only
Yeah.
reason why they released it.
But now that I think DC's not doing them right now, right?
No,
Didn't
they're
they?
not. They're not
Yeah.
because they're retarded.
Well, they don't know how to do it. I mean, and I don't want to always go back to the animated universe, but what DC did with the animated universe, starting with Batman the animated series, going on, that paid tribute to all the comic book characters, I think, in their truest form possible on screen.
Right.
And I would love to see something, and I'm not saying it has to be based in that universe, but use the ideas of how Batman was used, how Superman was used, how all these characters were used,
Right.
and bring it into live action.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill did a great job as Superman, but he
yeah.
had terrible stories.
Yeah.
It was a terrible story in
Which
all
was
of them.
first with the Man of Steel?
Yeah.
I like the Man of Steel. The only thing I didn't like is the whole thing about how the father, he chose the dog over the father.
Yeah, I'm like the.
I was like, what?
But again, that to me that wasn't.
And the end was right out of a Miracle Man. I don't know.
Yeah.
You ever read Miracle Man? Alan Moore's
years
Miracle
ago. Yeah, years ago.
That was the whole ending of Superman versus Zod was Miracle Man, and which would be like Shazam and Black Adam, essentially.
Yeah, true.
But the breaking of the neck, I already saw it when I was watching Man of Steel. I was like, no, they didn't. No, I loved it, but then I was like, and then when he broke his neck, I was like, I can't believe they just took Alan Moore's Miracle Man, and put it into a Superman story. It bothered me, but you know what? What stopped it bothering me was actually that I knew that John Byrne had killed Zod, had Superman kill Zod in the 80s, and that was very controversial. But actually, Kurt Swan had Zod killed in 1953 by Superman, and I didn't know that.
I don't remember that, and I'm a big Kurt Swan fan, so I don't remember.
There's an issue where he actually kills Zod, and it was like, I don't know if it was Zod of Another Earth, or because the one that Byrne did was a play off of that story. So I think there was another Zod, like another world Zod, and he killed him.
Huh, interesting.
And
I'll have
then
to look that up.
That's when I forgave Zack Snyder. I was like, okay, you're forgiven. Be a Koopa, right? It's like,
Fat Creep says they did Superman wrong in the DC extended universe, and I do agree.
I agree to a certain extent. If you look at, we all love Christopher Reeve, right? Superman 1, Superman 2, but I'm sorry, the mime with the ice cream in the face, and Superman 4 fighting the guy with the golden fingernails, disco villain. I gotta say that as much as I hate to say it, but Zack Snyder's Superman, it wasn't my favorite,
Yeah.
But if you look at the whole swath of Superman on the screen, it's the
Mhm.
best one. I hate to say that, but it's
You
a
know what? I don't know. I think it goes to the era that you're looking at. Like yeah, look, Chris Reeve was the Superman I watched growing up.
yeah, me
All
too.
right, and
Bigstone
but
Theater, I saw it.
and I
Yeah,
just want to say hi to Tim Jones. I sometimes have to remember to go to my other screen on Facebook. It's
I didn't want to
yeah.
like it, but I'm forced to like it because there were so many. Lois and Clark,
Mm.
horrible. I get, like I said, Superman 3 and 4, Smallville. I
Yeah.
hated Smallville. So
Smallville got tiring after a while. I watched it till the end because I was with the show for
but
so
remember,
long.
in the first 2 seasons, it was like X Files.
Yeah.
That show came along because they wanted something to compete with X Files.
You know, it's funny. Let me just say this about Superman before I move on to this topic here. My favorite Superman, honestly, is George Reeves. I've
I
always
love
loved
George
George.
Reeves. Yeah,
I
that's true.
think I
Yeah.
think
The comic book, yeah,
he had the best. I mean, sure, he didn't have like Lex Luthor or any like real villains to fight.
right,
It was always like, oh, I got to stop these gangsters or whatever.
right.
But
But that's what Superman was in the Golden
yeah,
Age.
but I'm saying that's to me that was a good interpretation of him, and that's the Superman
Yeah,
I like to see. Now, just getting to Smallville, I don't know if you remember this. Back in the 80s, they had a show that I love that everyone thought was crap, and it only lasted 2 seasons. And when you go back and look at it, it is a crappy show.
what,
All right,
Superboy?
no, it was called The Powers of Matthew Starr. All right,
I've never heard of that.
Louis
I've
Gossett
seen like,
Jr.
I've
played
seen
in it.
every 80s shows. I've never seen that.
Hold on. It was an hour. It was one of those hour dramas where this kid, Matthew Starr, was an alien from another planet, and he had these powers, right? And his planet was at war, and
Mhm.
so Louis Gossett Jr.'s character was like his family's guardian or whatever. So he brought him to Earth to save him from this war, right?
That
And
sounds
he
cool.
was there to learn his powers and all this stuff. And season one was about this guy being in high school and using his powers and whatever.
That
Season
sounds like
two,
Smallville.
what?
That sounds like
Well,
Smallville.
that was the thing. Like, I've always wanted to bring that show back, and then Smallville did what I thought the Powers of Matthew Starr didn't do right. You know,
Right, right.
so I'm like, and every time I watched Smallville as it went on, and I'm like, it kept reminding me of that show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would love to see a new Powers of Matthew Starr, but I'm like, they did it with Smallville.
Yeah. And the problem is also is that you look at Flash, like I really love the Flash, even though they were telling the story of Wally West, but calling it Barry Allen.
In
That was really
the new CW or the '90s with
the
John?
CW. Oh, the
Okay,
90s one I loved. I loved that one.
yeah,
But
yeah,
even though some of it bothered me too, I had issues with that too. But
yeah.
Mark Hamill made it work.
Oh,
But I mean, because it was very soap opera-ishy, But then the new Flash became soap opera-ishly, whatever. And the reason why I realize is that the episodes of the Flash of the CW Flash that I hate are basically rewrites of the CW.
yeah,
And then the Supergirl, I liked Supergirl a lot, but I had to stop watching it. I couldn't even get through season 4.
yeah.
It was like painful to watch.
Well, it was actually really good when it was on CBS.
Yes, it was when CBS it was better. And
Yes,
then when I went to CW, it just turned to crap. But the
yeah,
thing is that, but the parts, and then I'll tell you why. When it went to CW, if you look at, there was a Birds of Prey, that show. I used to hate that show, but I watched it recently,
hmm,
and it's much better. Like Time has done it service, but I hated that
yeah.
show when it came out. But if you look at the bad episodes of Supergirl, they're rewrites of the Birds of Prey episodes.
Oh,
Like,
are they? I haven't watched Birds of Prey in a while. Just give me one second. I just want to say hi to Anthony just on
hey Anthony,
Facebook.
what's up?
He it's weird because I'm not getting. I don't know why. It's when I stream to my personal account. None of the Facebook comments come up in the thing here, so I have another screen. So if I
Yeah,
miss you guys on Facebook, I apologize. But hi, Anthony. I also want to say hi to not hi, but get to a couple of comments from Fat Creep. He said, "Wow, old school Mike," and it goes, "Sounds like the new CW Naomi. Right now, the CW is just low budget, and the writing is the worst."
I haven't even seen the Naomi thing.
I haven't. I've heard it's terrible.
I haven't read the
Um,
comic book either. That was what's his name, right? That was a Marvel guy that did that, right?
I think so. You know what? And I've said this before about comics. mainstream comics are just not interesting me. I wish they were. I really wish they were. Because I
I'm
love
back
the
reading
character.
all the old stuff. That's what I've been doing, buying collection editions.
That's what I do. I look and I pick up.
Mhm.
I haven't bought some collection. I've been buying more manga right now,
Mhm.
and reading that. Um, but
And even the
I'm
New
not even.
52. People hated the New 52, but actually, New 52 Aquaman was very good.
The only book
Very
that I
good.
really liked, and they canceled it, I think after 10 or 12 issues,
Uh-oh.
was Etrigan and the Knights of the Demon, or whatever.
I
That
never.
was.
I have those. I never even read them yet.
I thought they were fantastic. I liked those stories, and
Yeah.
then the story got canceled, and I don't remember why, but
Well, whenever
I
anything's good, they cancel it.
yeah,
You know?
I
They
liked
canceled
that.
Blue Devil. They canceled
Yeah.
Animal Man. Animal Man was a
Well,
great series, and they
oh,
canceled
Animal Man was fantastic, but
Doom
just say I
Patrol.
with if I remember correctly, with the Etrigan book I just mentioned, the Blue Devil's in the book. I think he's one of the knights, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
really?
Like he's one of the characters, part of his team.
I remember they had the whole Shadow thing with the team, the Shadow something before Dark Justice. You
Oh,
had
Shadow Pack, I think it was.
Shadow Pack. That was a good book
Yeah,
too. That was pretty fun.
I don't remember read. I remember reading a few issues.
I don't
Not.
like that they made Blue Devil a demon, though. I think that's corny. I think the Gary Cohn had a better story where he was in a suit and then the suit merges to his body and becomes his body.
Yeah.
I always imagine that he must be rotting in that underneath that suit. He must be like bed sores all over his body. Like you don't want to come out of there now, buddy. You stink. It's like,
Yeah.
but but I do love. There was a story where they killed the Blue Devil. I don't know if you remember that. They killed Justice League Europe in a Starman series. I don't know if you ever read the Starman. That was to me hands down the best
Which
DC story.
version? I read a few Starman books, but
The one in the 90s after Zero Hour.
yes, I did read that.
Those were the best. See,
Mhm.
why did they do a Stargirl show without doing Starman? Because Starman passes that
Well,
baton to her Stargirl.
did you watch the Stargirl series?
It's unwatchable. I've seen like
Uh, you know
3
what?
episodes.
I
And I
like.
was like,
Okay, here's the thing. For me, I am such a fan of the Justice Society, and I
yeah.
like that kind of old school. Going back to the 50s, 60s, kind of wholesome
Yeah,
type
but
of
they
story.
cut out the main guy who was behind that to bring that. Like they cut the main guy out of
Well,
that and
well,
the girl
hold
in,
on.
and she was like that. She was the sequel. You did the
Well, hold
sequel
on.
before
This
the
in the first story arc, she
yeah
believes Star because the idea is, Pat is her stepfather, and
right
he has the staff, and the
right
staff wakes up to her.
right
So to her, she thinks the real Starman is her father. So the whole first season, she has this belief the reason she can do this
right.
is
It wasn't an
because
uncle originally. Wasn't the uncle the
I what who Starman is in the comic or
in the comic book? It was the father, then the brother, then the second brother dies, and then the second brother
yeah,
takes
but I
over,
mean it was passed down
and
like the
he
family.
retires. The uncle passes the staff to the niece.
I don't remember exactly how she got it now, but I do remember,
Yeah. No, I
her
remember.
com.
That's how it went. Because Starman was retired. Because this is
Yeah,
after because Crisis made everything one Earth, and
yeah,
then Zero Hour undid that.
mhm.
And then the Golden Age people, I remember, were Justice Society were like in limbo for like a decade or something like that. They were like trapped in some dimension. And then they came back, and then Starman, everyone was old. So they made all the Golden Age heroes old of the same. They were
Yeah,
no longer Earth 1 and Earth 2, they're the same Earth.
yeah,
And the Starman was a superhero, but gets killed by the Mist, I believe.
mhm.
And then the Mist daughter, the brother takes over the staff and kills the Mist for killing his brother. And then the Mist's daughter, who was technically a good girl, not really a villain type, loses her mind when her father dies and then becomes the next Mist.
Yeah.
And
That
then
sounds
she
familiar.
and then she basically her ultimate revenge which was the best villain. Like she basically seduces and you know takes Starman's cherry and then has his baby, and then her ultimate revenge was to raise the kid to hate him.
I don't remember. It's been so long since I read these, but I loved the
Yeah,
0 Hour, the Crisis stuff. That's some of my favorite
yeah.
stories. Um,
what War Without Superheroes started with my hate for Zero Hour. There was
Really,
a
I
lot of
love.
Zero Hour that I liked. There was like I think what was good about the Zero Hour was not the Zero Hour themselves, but the attaching stories, like the compendium stories that led
Yeah,
up to it.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
were good. But I really hated when they killed off Hal Jordan and made him a villain, and then they killed off Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Green Arrow and Green
yeah,
Lantern were my favorites. I had a
yeah.
love affair
But you
with.
know what? I loved Hal Jordan as the Spectre.
Did you really?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was a. Well, no, it was a great way. It was a way for him to redeem himself to come
It
back.
was a good transition back, but
You know,
Craig
and
P. Russell's comic book art was good. The ones that he
mhm,
did.
yeah,
And didn't the other guy, Mandrake, do some of those? I do love Spectre as a character, but I
yeah,
think that Spectre should now and forever be Jim
yeah,
Corrigan.
yeah,
All the other incarnations I really didn't care for.
yeah.
But
No, I
yeah, because he's Hal Jordan, you force feed yourself to love it because it's Hal, he comes back. But I actually liked Kyle Rayner better than Hal Jordan.
Oh, I did too.
And I don't think they should have went back. There was no reason to go back.
Well, how I mean, Kyle ended up becoming like who was it? Was his name Ion or Icon for a while? He
Yeah,
became
when he
like
was
this.
Iron, it was lame. Yeah, that became
Yeah,
lame.
I was
Then
like that was
that
kind
killed
of
it for me.
yeah, but no, but it was a nice like I remember I and some people will call it, like fan fiction or stuff, but because you and I we work and we've pitched to places and stuff, I always tend to write stories based on characters that I love
Hmm.
as if I was to pitch it and how would I do it. And
Right.
I had this idea to reboot the Green Lanterns. And this
Hmm.
is before they brought Hal
No, don't
back.
steal it.
What?
Don't
No, no,
tell.
no. It's done. It's done. It's done. I mean, it was as Hal Jordan as the Spectre, and I was like, I
Mm,
wanted to. This would have been the movie. It would have been Hal telling like a maybe a 5-10 minute intro of what's happened, and now this is him as the Spectre, and
right.
as the Spectre, he just oversees what's
Right.
going on, and he's like the outside narrator
Hmm.
of the story, and it's really Kyle's story taking off, you know. Um, and Kyle meet like I remember really enjoying what was the book Guy Gardner Warrior or whatever it
Right.
was
Right.
called.
Right. Oh, that
Like
was good. That was
there was
fun.
a good scene in that I
Yeah.
always loved, and I don't remember if it was Hal
And he
was in
had
it
yellow ring power, right? So it would make more
at
sense that
one
he would
point.
become Parallax than
Yeah.
Hal Jordan.
Well, at that point, he didn't have a ring. I don't think he was.
He was a living ring. The
Yeah,
power
he had whatever alien
armor.
DNA come to life, and he was able to turn himself into weapons. He was like a living weapon.
Yeah, he was basically that's a Marvel villain. That was a Punisher villain that could do the same thing.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I never really read the
he was
Punisher.
basically Bushwhacker. He was basically
Oh,
Bushwhacker.
okay, yeah, I know the character, but there was this great scene I remember reading, and I think it was Kyle. I know Guy was there because Guy owned like a restaurant in the comic.
Yeah,
I believe John Stewart was there, and
yeah.
Alan Scott, and they were just all talking and kind of like guiding Kyle into how to be a hero and about the power.
That's
And
when Alan Scott was Sentinel, right?
I think so, yeah. And I loved Alan Scott is my all-time favorite Lantern. I mean, I know I'm a JSA, but I mean, look, I got
My
right in
favorite
front of me
Doctor
here.
Fate was the Book of Fate.
I got
Oh yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
I got this one over here. Look at that. I got a Erwin Hasten there.
Yeah, I do too. It's Wildcat, Green Lantern, and Dondi all together.
Yeah, I got the
But
there.
is that a print or an original? Because you knew
It's
Irwin.
he used to. I'll tell you his little secret. He used to hold on, make sure.
Because it's the same Green Lantern pose, it looks
It's the
like to
same
me.
pose. He used to photograph them, kind of like Jeff Schultz, and then he would hand color it. So it's a hand colored version. It's originally colored with marker, but it's a print.
Yeah, that's what I got. You have the exact same one as I do.
And then
I don't know if it'll go over that far.
this
Let me
one
see.
is Erwin Hasten original of my character.
Oh wow, nice.
So this is Imagine the Mystic by Hasten, and he did that in 2007.
Yeah.
And then
So
I got this This is the guy who did Neon Genesis Evangelion. Did
Wow.
my character. he did this at Big Apple Con, I believe it was. 40
That's
bucks.
nice. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, he is the
So-
art director. And then Glenn Fabre did The World Without Superheroes here too.
Wow, that's great.
That's an original pencil there, 2004.
That's
So
nice.
yeah, so
I got to do a drawing of some of your characters one day.
oh yeah, I'll stick it to the wall. Here
Yeah.
goes my Dondi here.
Yeah, I love that comic. I don't know if I have both collections. I got the first book signed by him,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Stuff. This guy Schlepzig. I just met this guy. He did a great punchline. Look at that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Looks a little bit like Frank Miller, you know.
Yeah, hold on, let me fix
You
my
know, we
camera
got a
here.
bunch of cool stuff here.
Yeah, you got a really nice artwork around this.
This is an original.
Oh, yeah, Larry's work's fantastic.
So the Joker's face is penciled, and then everything else is inked. I thought that was
Nice.
cool. I was like, that is pretty clever, you know.
Yeah.
And this is a Black Power by Joe Staton.
Mhm.
So I was like, I actually colored it. I was like, this looks like a Scooby Doo pose or something, you know? Because
Well, didn't he draw Scooby for a while for DC?
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then this is my all-time favorite right now. It's my newest one. This is Rudy Nebres doing Red Rage.
Wow.
And that's an original there. That cost me 400 beans.
Jeez.
But it was worth every penny. And then this is Black Power by Stroman again. I love Stroman's work. I was a big fan of X Factor, and I loved everything that he did. This is a print, but this is he did limited edition prints. This is Arthur Adams with Fantastic Four.
Did I ever? I don't know if I ever told you this Arthur Adams story I got. So I did a show. I won't name the show, but it was a show I did in New Jersey, and he was at the show. And I, in his row were all these like mainstream big name people. You know,
he wasn't very friendly, was he?
Oh no, he was a great guy. He was very nice.
Okay.
But I think like Steve Rude was there. Like it was a big show, a lot of big name people. And then at the other end were all of us indies, were like right by the bathroom, you know, but in the same row.
Convenient.
So the show. So at the end of the show, I'm kind of walking around. And he was like, he saw my artist badge. He's like, "What do you do?" I go, "I'm in indie. I'm down." All the other. He goes, "How's show?" It was okay. I mean, I could have, could have been better. And he's like, "Oh, I did amazing." I go, "Yeah, but you're Art Adams."
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
And like, you don't do shows on the East Coast,
right? Yeah.
So, not that I said it like that to him.
Yeah,
but that was kind of the thing. I'm like, you're Art Adams, dude. You of course you're gonna do well at a show.
He's making like $4,000 or $5,000 in a show.
Yeah, and I'm lucky to pull in like 100 or 2 at this show. You know,
like the show that I did with Rudy, that where I just got that piece at. He made over 10 G's, and that was a dead show. That show was dead. He made 10 G's. Because they take commissions that they do at home and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say goodbye. I don't know if you left yet. Fat Grease has got to go. Nice chat. Super Bowl time. Keep doing what you guys doing.
Thank you.
Doing so well. So thanks if you're still watching. But go and enjoy the Super Bowl. I know it's starting at 6:30.
I don't know. Who said that? I think my wife says she wants to see it. I don't care for that.
I don't have an interest in it. I'm just gonna what I usually do. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to work inside the living room, bring my Surface out. And, I don't know if my wife's home yet. She was out for a while because my studio door is closed, which means, don't interrupt me. I'm recording or something.
Oh, you're like that, huh?
Well, well, she can always text me if there's an emergency. Or if it's a real emergency, she can bust in. But it just means, like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Don't,
Close off.
And it's always like, it's always like, but I also have a cat who comes in and disturbs me.
So you don't think so? So it's for the cat.
So like, I love my cat, but he comes.
Your wife's an artist too, though, isn't she?
She's. I mean, she does crafts. She's not like someone like us who draws.
An artist. Don't look down on crafts.
I'm not looking down on crafts. She does gorgeous crafts. My wife's a
puppeteer, Yeah. My wife's a puppeteer. So she understands. My wife understands. Yeah. She has her own.
No, my wife gets it. She does. She totally gets it.
Yeah.
And she knows when I'm staying in here, I'm doing what I need to. But there are times where it's like, she's like, I haven't seen you in weeks, it feels like. And she just sees me for dinner, and then I go into the studio and I'm just stuck in the studio working.
She's like,
And
damn it, take me out.
yeah,
I want
but
to.
oh no, she's not like that. But now that I've fallen in, like, I had my iPad Pro and I enjoyed my iPad Pro, but I bought a Surface right before the pandemic, a Surface Pro right before the pandemic, because traveling to schools and giving, like going into classrooms and talking to kids or doing assemblies, schools were basically PC based. So I'm like, I need a PC device. So I bought the Surface. I found a great deal for it on Slick Deals. I got a Slick Deals is just a website that you can find some deals on, electronics and things. And what this was about $2,000 with everything. I got for $1,200 for this device. So I'm like, okay, I got it, and I bought it, and then the pandemic happened, and I didn't use it for like 6-7 months because I'm like, I'm always on my iPad or I'm in my studio, whatever. And I'm like, I spent all this money. I need to learn to use this. So I got involved in it, and I actually prefer it now to my iPad. And so I have most of the Adobe on there that I use, but I use Clip Studio Paint for almost everything now. And like for drawing wise, I mean.
Why do you have that glove? I always see people wearing that glove.
This is for the I don't even need it right now. I'm not drawing. This is a smudge guard, so my oils from my hand don't get on my surface, on my on the screen. So it's $5 on like Amazon. What?
I don't even use that, Yeah.
You don't need it. I mean, but it helps with a smoother glide of the pen for me because my hand's not greasing up and the sweat and the oils on the screen. I don't have to clean the screen as much.
That makes sense.
So I use this.
I was like, what is that for?
Yeah, I have two. I keep one in my travel container, and I keep one in.
I found a funny drawing because in my Batman story, Punchline kills Harley Quinn and takes her place, right? But this was like the Punchline after killing Harley Quinn.
Oh, I like that.
Is that cool? She's got like a robot arm, and it's like an armor. It's not really like she lost an arm, but she has like this robotic arm.
Hold on one second. I'm getting a text from my wife right now. She's probably on her way home.
The Jetsons. I like that.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah. Okay. But I thought that was pretty cool. And then she has like goggles and stuff. It was just like, DC missed out with me, man. They could have had their little Punchline better 20 years ago. They could have had their Red Hood back in 1990, right? They could have had a bunch of stuff,
I gotta find
Red Hood. He would have been Robin, But...
Yeah. Hold on one second. I gotta find the drawing for you. Where did I put all my drawings?
They missed that. DC could have been DC better. Like, notice that they're confused. Like they're drawing the Red Hood out like Iron Man. His helmet looks like Iron Man now. Like
does it? I haven't looked recently.
Yeah, the Titan show was terrible. I mean,
I want to show you.
And then I put a drawing. I don't know if I told you this, but I put a drawing of my version of Jason Todd when he came back when I was 15 or something like that. He died in what, 88?
I think so. 87, 88, something like that.
Yeah, so I was like 14, 15. And I still have the comic book that I drew. This like Batman Beyond looking comic book back in the 80s with the reincarnated Jason Todd that I sent DC. I still have the original. And I did a new drawing of it. This is like in 2019, I guess, or 2019, of how the character would look now. So I didn't change any details to it. This is what my reincarnated Jason Todd would look like. And do you know that Future State, is that what they just called?
Yeah, I think so.
Did a 2-issue Robin story, and someone on Facebook used my design for that damn Future State costume.
I don't know, man. That's
why I don't. That's what it was exactly. Even the belt was the same. He had like this square cube belt. It's like I was like, they just rearranged the color spectrum like this. They didn't leave the colors exactly the same, but they basically shifted them around. And I'm like, I'm not even That's why you don't see me posting that much stuff on Facebook or Instagram anymore, unless it's already in print or about to go to the printer. I don't do it. I don't post. That's why I refuse to draw any Batman, Robin, whatever anymore, because look at that. The second I drew it, somebody steals it and they put it. I put them side by side, and I was like, look, This future state Robin and the drawing I just did 2 months ago is identical.
Hold on. I want to show you a drawing that I did recently. I just need to find something first.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
okay.
frustrating to be an artist, you know?
Yeah, this is now. I was going through, there was a time a few weeks ago where I was just kind of going through old artwork of mine and kind of updating my drawings just based on how I can draw better now, right?
Right.
And back in the 90s, I created this character. He's a bad guy. I just named him the Enforcer. And I
Enforcer.
guess with all the what is this, the 30th anniversary of Image and everything going on and having all this Image stuff, it reminded me about the character. So I went and looked him up, and this was a drawing I did a few weeks ago. I want to ink him and color him in, but I think I want to bring him back. And this is just a quick sketch, but it was very 90s,
Hey,
very 90s. The Enforcer, it was kind of like,
bring it closer. Let me say it closer.
I remember like, basing him off kind of like it was like Wolverine meets Omega Red.
Yeah,
where like
he has a little bit of a cable look to him too.
Yeah, so he has the claw. He has, instead of claws coming, it's just two swords, which I took from like Azrael, and who I loved Azrael. So I'm like, this could be fun. And I'm like, maybe I should redesign him for a modern,
right,
for a modern era, and bring him into something. But yeah, I
Did
got
I
a
ever
lot
tell
of.
you that I mailed DC Comics as a teenager a character named Anarchy? He was supposed to be the son of the Joker, and then they came out with their own version of Anarchy. It's like,
dude, you got to stop giving your stuff away to Marvel and DC here.
As a fan, when you're a kid, you think, you'd send them stuff,
Yeah,
and
but
that puts me off. But I put them in the new Punchline now, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
All my submissions that I've done to DC, all my artwork, I'm putting it into the Punchline universe. Everything.
And that's what you do.
Even the Red Hulk, I put the Red Rage is basically my Red Hulk concept. Just putting that into.
Look, you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, number one, you're allowed to have a character with the same name, and unless they have it trademarked and it's in the title, like you can create a character and call him Batman. Literally, you just can't give a title of the book Batman.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, I have a character, he's Batman. I mean, I personally don't, but I mean, you could go and make him look however you want, and as long as it doesn't look like DC, you have Batman. Like, people don't get that,
Right.
And this is something that happens a lot with public domain. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of people think like Captain Marvel is in public domain, and technically certain story. And when I say Captain, I mean Shazam.
Right. Real Captain Marvel.
Yeah, the real one. There's certain
CC Beck.
yeah, the CC Beck stuff. Who I love his work too, but his stuff. There's certain ones. Like, say, I don't know the issue number, so don't quote me on it, but say like issues 1 through 3 are technically public domain of Captain Marvel. So, like, in a few years, Superman's going to go into the public domain technically, but it's only Action Comics number 1. So whatever Superman, whatever powers he had, whatever he did, so you can't use Lois Lane, you can't use Lex Luthor, Jimmy Olsen. They weren't in the first issue.
Right, they weren't.
Yeah, so it's only what was happening. So he didn't even fly in the original story. So
he leaped in a single.
So if you want him to fly, he needs a jetpack or something. You have to find something that can make him fly. There was no such thing as kryptonite in the first issue.
Yeah, no, not until like years later.
So none of that
decade
is
later.
Usable. It's basically, here's a guy who's strong,
can
see through things, and can leap far.
That's what you call Huck.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the thing.
You read that, right? You read Huck?
I read the first couple of issues. It's a good book.
Yeah,
I got to find a trade of that. Yeah,
I find it funny that people criticized me back in the 90s for ripping off the Justice League and making fun of them. But now every company is doing exactly. Invincible was like doing that. The Boys, everybody's ripping off some version of the Justice League.
Well, they're the most, a lot of people obviously are influenced by it, love it a lot. So it's their own interpretation. How many how many versions? So one person has the Justice League, so you can't have any other team books. I mean, come on, it's
Yeah, but they make
everyone
them
could.
directly like Batman,
Well,
directly
the
Flash.
thing is, the characters made
Yeah,
sense on
right.
the
Like
team.
even the Eternals basically
Yeah,
made it Justice
yeah,
League.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
like Justice League meets Watchmen or something.
I don't know if you're familiar with Jay Piscopo as an artist. I
Yeah, he was
recommend
from the '80s.
what?
He was from the '80s. Jay Piscopo. He was in a bunch of stuff.
I don't know a lot of his background before
He
that,
was in
but
Marvel, right? He was a Marvel
I
guy.
don't remember. We've never talked about that. Jay's a friend of mine. I've had him on
Mm,
the show a few times. He does a lot in public domain,
okay.
but he's always creating these team stories.
Mm.
So, hold on. Let me see if I can find his work just to show you. I think you'll really enjoy it. Instagram.com/as a J.
I find it funny that that last cartoon they did, the Crisis cartoon that they did,
Yeah.
um, right? That was released during the lawsuit, right? If you look at my design for Omnipotent,
Uh.
they changed the design of their evil Superman, Ultraman. It doesn't look like Ultraman in the comics. He looks like Omnipotent from my book.
Yeah.
My interpretation of my evil Superman. And then Black Lightning they called Black Power, you know. Now they
Oh,
don't
did they?
call him by name in the cartoon, but if you look at the credits, it says Black Power.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this is Jay Piscopo's Instagram right here.
I've seen this before. Let me see his
I mean,
face.
you might follow him on Facebook, but he's always creating like these team characters
Yes.
using public domain.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That looks
you
great.
know, he's got some great stuff. This is another version of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So he takes these things and makes his own. Sometimes gives them their own name. So he's not working. He's working with public domain, and he's changing it up enough that it's
Yeah.
completely different. Like
Oh,
those are the
he's
mighty.
Shield in there.
That's the Mighty Crusaders right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause I was like, that's the
Yeah,
Shield. I see the Fox.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
Fox used to be public domain, right?
what?
The Fox was public domain at one point, right?
It depends what version you look at, but yeah, because two companies had a Fox character. I don't know if this Fox is in public domain or not, but
I don't know why they can't, why Archie just can't get that red circle
there,
line right. They're
there was
just
a yeah, there
they're
was a Facebook post about it the other day, and I comment. Look, Archie, I think is afraid to invest in something they're not familiar with. Like
mhm,
they understand the teenage books. They understand Archie's always been their seller,
mhm.
Sabrina, Josie, whatever. They understand how to sell to like kids and teens.
But they were the number one superhero book for many years before
At one
DC and
point,
Marvel.
yeah.
They were
But
the top
they
guys.
they
Think about Kirby was and Joe and and Kirby got the idea from working on the Shield. They quit the
mm,
Shield and made Captain America, but they were
yeah.
drawing the Shield, you know?
Yeah. But I think what happened, I think with Archie though, is they don't. Every time their heroes have been done, it hasn't been done by Archie. It's always been another company that they've licensed to. I don't
Mhm.
think Archie and the books, they don't succeed after a while. Maybe they have a year or two of sales.
If
You
they
know,
gave me the red circle line to play with, I would have great
that's I
stories
would be honest with you. I would love to take the Red Circle characters.
and
You
just
know,
and make it better than the Justice League and better
yeah.
than Avengers and
Because
all.
they had, I mean, we go back to this here, and I got to get Jay back on the show. We're going to talk soon, but these characters are
We're great.
just they're
We're
great,
great.
and and because of how the characters have been rebooted, they
Mhm.
don't have a lot of official history behind them.
Right.
You could really
Just start from
build their
scratch.
build their world, build their universe.
Mhm.
But I think one of the things is, unlike, if Archie, here's the other problem.
Mhm.
Archie hasn't pushed these characters.
They haven't. Did you see
Um,
the Shield one that what's his name? Did this guy did Rob Liefeld?
oh yeah, 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 totally.
I thought that was great. Why
Yeah,
did he? But they screwed him out of the deal, and then he quit, right, or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that. But that's the thing. Like, I
They,
think Archie needs to give one or two of the characters to be the starting like flagship character, like start with the Shield or somebody. Make
yeah.
him the one that everybody loves.
Mhm.
Do a year of books just with him. and bring the other other characters in slowly,
Mhm.
and then you get to know who they are, and then they spin off into their own books.
Right. Like
You
even
know,
the girl one as the Shield was good. That was
yeah,
pretty good.
they did one a few years ago where they had like it was like the kids. I don't know if the
Like a
Shield
Dark Line. It was called Dark Circle or something like that. It
was
was
that
like
it? I don't remember, but I
oh,
read like the first, I don't know, say 3 or 4 issues of that. I liked them, and then I just kind of fell off because it's hard to
Lisa
buy comics.
Martinez did a good job too. She did
Yeah.
that too. The one she's the one that's doing Nubia right now.
Mhm.
She did an animated series styled Shield and the Crusaders, and that looked great. And then they
Yeah.
stopped doing that. But the only thing they started putting curses in it. I was like, is
Oh,
this for kids or is this for? It looked like it was for kids. It looked like Batman the animated series, but then why would
yeah.
you have curses in it? It
Because
makes no
that's what
sense.
people do now. I mean, I've said I don't know how many
Confusing.
times, comics to me, I want my heroes to be heroes. I want them to be better than me. When I'm off the air, you know me. I do not have the cleanest mouth on the planet. I'm able to
Mhm,
keep myself like professional on
mhm,
here, but I curse like crazy. I want someone who does things that I should be looking up to who's better than me. I don't need someone on my level being a hero.
exactly.
I want, if that's actually one of the reasons I always tended to lean towards DC over Marvel,
Right.
because DC had that. I always said, whatever word you want to use, if it's clean or what, I always said the DC characters had much more of a light to them
Right.
than Marvel characters did, because Marvel characters, oh, we got issues, we got this, we got that. Um,
Yeah.
you know, but hi to Mike Wilkie who's watching. But that's the thing. It's like when DC, and this happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
DC started to try to become Marvel.
Yeah.
And
When Superman has a gun, comes back from life, and he has a gun in his
yeah,
hand, like what the hell?
well, and I've said this, and I know we've had this conversation. I've always said, well, I everything started to me with Spawn. Spawn comes out, becomes popular, everything needs to be dark, right? So what do? Oh, we're going to kill Superman. We're going to break Batman's back. We're going to remove Wolverine's adamantium. Everything became a gimmick,
Right.
and everything was like dark. What do they do? What happened to Doctor Fate? Oh, whoever took over melts down the helmet or whatever, and
Turns it into a knife. That was
yeah,
the
turns
Book
him
of
into
Fate. That was actually
yeah.
good though. That
No, the
was
Book of Fate was I thought the Book of Fate was later.
the guy who has the unk on the eye.
Yeah,
That's
that was the
Zero
Fate.
Hour. That's after 0 Hour. Yeah.
I thought that was just called Fate.
It was called Fate, and then they changed it to Book of Fate.
Oh, I don't remember that, but I
After
didn't
issue
like that
12, it
version.
became the Book of Fate.
Yeah, I don't like that version of.
You didn't like that?
I didn't like that.
You know what he was? If you read it, he was basically Evil Dead Bruce Campbell. That's who he
Yeah,
was.
but I'm just like it. I don't know. It wasn't. But everything just got. I mean, do you remember Marvel? What's it called? They ripped part of the Thing's face off.
Oh
For a
yeah,
while, it was
yeah.
like everything was just like
And then
everything
Captain
had to.
Marvel became the female thing. That was bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird. It was, but it was all because, and I don't like to knock Spawn, even though I'm
Right,
not a fan of it. I believe just because of his popularity, everybody needed to do something to compete. So they
right,
said, let's do this stuff.
right.
And that was kind of like the downfall of things. And I don't think we've ever really gotten back to what is, because you even talk to a lot of these indie creators
Hmm.
who came up during the time that we came up as comic artists and fans.
Right.
To them, the 90s was fantastic. And yeah, I mean, listen,
Well,
some of the
compared to
books
the
were
shit they're
great.
doing now, yeah. Excuse my language, but
No, but it's not
it
I don't
was
feel
fantastic compared to it was terrible back then. But if you read them, like even Superboy, I didn't like the new Superboy with the leather jacket and saying fresh. This is
yeah,
fresh. Like he used like
yeah,
the street lingo. It was corny. It wasn't authentic.
yeah.
But I just got someone's collection that used to a friend of mine that used to work at WB
Mhm.
uh, gave me her entire comic book collection.
Wow.
And I got like a whole run of Superboy, and I was going through it. I was like, "This is really good." Tom Grummett, I think, was an artist, and I thought it
Yeah.
looked really
It
good.
was no, it was a good series. I didn't like that version of Superboy though.
I didn't like the version of Superboy either.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way it was written. But
Yeah.
looking at the artwork, I was like, "Oh, this is giving me some ideas."
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, like you read back then, oh God, what was
Like
his name? Young
20 years
Justice.
later, you appreciate it,
Yeah.
But it's through
Right.
age, it's through time,
Yeah. But like Young Justice was one of the best books I think of the 90s.
That was, but the guy never made his deadline.
Yeah.
They canceled the book.
Yeah.
You know,
So, but yeah, no, it's
what was that? Umberto Ramos or something like that? Was that the
was
guy?
I don't
And he
remember
also
names, but
did Impulse. Impulse was a
yeah,
huge book.
yeah.
And he was an
So
image guy too, right? He was an image guy gone DC, Impulse.
maybe you know what, I don't I'm so bad with names and like the artist's career. I know artwork. If I see artwork,
Hmm.
I remember everything. I've
I
just
know
always
that he
been.
did Gen 13 or something like that. And
Mhm.
then he was doing Impulse, and everyone went crazy. And Impulse
Yeah.
was huge.
Yeah, Impulse was a, excuse me, that was a great book.
Hmm. It was. I have
And
every
the
issue.
art
It's
and the
not
art
worth
was
anything,
fantastic.
but
What?
it's not worth anything, but I have it
No,
all.
no, no. But hey,
Yeah. But look at this. I brought these for, I don't know if you're a fan of Walmart. Kids have the coolest clothes. I got this for my nephew. It's like,
what's that say? Bring it a little closer. No
no,
problem.
no
Oh, I love that.
problem.
No
Right,
problem. Oh,
right. And then it comes with this one. This is why Walmart's the enemy, right? But
no way. No, I gotta- Now, right there
it's not
is my
cool.
all-time favorite cartoon, I think, series of all
Yeah, I
time.
love it. And $10
Yeah.
for two
No,
shirts.
the Simpsons are great. I actually saw my Simpsons pieces I have on my wall. One's here. Where's the other one? I don't even
I
know
love
where
the
the other
Simpsons.
piece.
I used to draw my own
Yeah.
Simpsons versions when I was younger. I used to draw
I
myself
did.
in Bart Simpson.
I did too. But those are my two Simpson pieces are Phil Ortiz. I don't know if you
Hmm.
know Phil's
Yeah,
work, but he worked on the Simpsons
nice.
in the first like season or two.
Hmm.
He did like some character designs and background work, and then he worked on the comic for like, I don't know which book or a bunch of them for like the entire run of Bongo.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
believe they canceled them. My son was reading them. They were funny.
they were good books.
He read them to tatters. Like I was like, these
Yeah,
are supposed to be in good condition.
I still have a few issues. I don't have a lot left. I
I
gave
have
away a
the
lot of
first
my
issue. I
cool.
don't know if I gave it away or what. I
Yeah,
can't find it. I could have swore that I would
yeah.
keep that issue because isn't that worth something now? The first
It
Simpsons,
might be. I don't know. I gave away so much crap in my life that
over
was worth
$100.
stuff.
I know that.
Yeah, like I gave away. I used to have the How to Draw Batman the Animated Series book, the Walter Foster, the 11 by
Mm.
17 book, and I gave it to a friend's kid, and
Right.
now I don't talk to those people anymore.
Just break into
Uh,
their house.
and no, this was years ago. And then I saw it on sale on eBay one day. Just looking, I'm like, you know what? I missed that book. I'm just going to buy myself a copy just to have another copy again. So I go on eBay, look it up. It was selling for $400.
Are you kidding me? And
Oh,
it's the same copy that you gave away.
yeah, no, seriously. I don't know what it's selling for now, but it was $400 on eBay, like say
Yeah.
5, 6 years ago. And you know what? It's not that I need a book on how to draw Batman or
Mhm.
anything, but I collect certain how to draw books.
I might
And
have
I
that.
just, I
What was the
just,
cover look like? I might have that one. I'll give it to you.
I think it was like a brick background. It was 11 by 17.
Sounds familiar. I
And
think
he
I
was
used
like,
to have
I
that
think
too.
swinging. No, he was standing. I think he was standing.
Was it the spotlight on him or
I
something?
think so, yeah. But it was on eBay for like 400. I was like, I
That's
can't believe
crazy.
this.
I have
And
the Chip Kid book of that
the
of the animated series.
the which one?
Chip Kid did a Batman animated series book,
Oh, mhm.
like about the toys, the whole
Oh,
movement.
I got to
That
look into that. I'm waiting. I heard a rumor that someone is doing a book, basically the art of the DC animated universe. I don't know if that's going to be the
yeah.
title. But I do have
If you look up Batman the animated series Chip Kid, you'll see it.
I don't know if it's the book I have right now. I got to look for. I don't even
I
know
have a
where it
bunch of
is.
Chip Kid books. He's the one that designed the logo for
Um,
Jurassic Park and
Wait, let me see what I got here. Hold on.
novelization of Mad Men, and he did a bunch of iconic stuff.
Yeah, let me see. What's this one here? Oh yeah, no, I do have the Chip Kid book.
Okay.
I do. It's this one right here.
Yes, that's a
Yes,
good.
I got that one. I love this book. I've been through it like 3 or 4 times now.
He's a great guy. I met him in New
Yeah.
York. We had a conversation at the Mocha, and then I met him again in San Diego, and we were chatting.
Really nice.
Yeah, but I felt like he was trying to get into my pants.
Okay.
I
Oh, and speaking and
shouldn't
speaking
say that, but he was being flirtatious.
um speaking of the Simpsons, I
He's a
actually have
little bit,
the How to Draw the Simpsons characters book. but I love this book. Have you seen this? It's The Simpsons Family,
Oh,
and it's just
nice.
really it just goes throughout the story of who each character is
That's
and
cool.
some of the storylines and stuff. So, you know,
That's cool.
so I
Yeah.
love that. But I also I do have, I don't know where it is right now, but I do have this thick book which is like the art. It's like how to draw all the Simpsons characters, and it's
Hmm.
a beautiful book.
I want to do a coffee table book, 28 years of a world without superheroes, because it's been 20. I even found sketches of making
Mm,
them zombie superheroes in the 90s, and nobody was doing
wow.
zombie superheroes in the 90s. And then I just didn't do it because I was like, this is a dumb idea. No one wants to
Yeah.
read about zombie superheroes.
My God.
I had a
Yeah.
bunch of ideas. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
these pseudo Justice League characters as zombies. I was like, nobody wants to read that. I'm not gonna do it. I hate zombies. Why did I even think of it? But
yeah.
it's good I
That's
have
funny
it.
though.
I swear,
Uh,
every time I come up with a really good idea and don't use it, I end up seeing it on the
Well,
screen.
that happens. I actually I got to look it up. I had this idea for a board game.
Hmm.
Um, it's about pirates.
Hmm.
And it takes in like the idea of card battle like Magic or whatever
Hmm.
with the elements of a board game. And I happened to be Barnes and Nobles the other day,
Hmm.
and I saw a board game called like Pirates of whatever,
Hmm.
and it had cards in there for them to battle. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've only told like 4 people this idea, and none of them that I know of have access to the gaming world.
Right.
Um,
It's like
so
Freud is like the collective unconscious
And I'm
of
just like,
ideas.
this is
That
killing
is.
me. So I took a photo of the box.
Right.
I'm gonna look it up to make sure it's nothing like my game. But
Right.
this was gonna be my like something I wanted to start over the summer.
Do it anyway. Do it anyway.
I'm not gonna, if it's already out there, I can't. I have to figure out how to make it different then.
Yeah, man. Do it anyway.
Um,
Don't worry.
and maybe I'll change, instead of pirates, I'll go with something else. I mean, but the idea from what I understand from just reading the back of the box, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like nervous to go like on YouTube and watch the gameplay of this or something,
Mhm.
and see that. But yeah, no, it happens even drawing styles. I'm not gonna take credit for anyone's drawing styles,
Mhm.
but I remember doing like this cartoony work back in the 90s,
Mhm.
and everyone passed my table. And then someone starts getting published with work similar to my drawing style. It at like Marvel or DC or something. I'm not gonna say the company. And Ray just got disconnected again. But all I'll say, because if he can hear, oh, there he is. Hold on.
I just
All I'll
looked at my
say is
camera.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, we're gonna end soon because I just realized it's
Yeah,
almost
I have
7.
to
I
show
need
you
to eat
something.
dinner.
Well, keep talking. I'm listening. I was going to show
No,
you
but
something. That's why I'm
no, but
moving.
this guy gets, and then all of a sudden, I've been drawing this style for a while, and everyone's like, "Well, why are you copying this guy's style now?"
Right.
And I'm like,
It gets you mad.
I'm not saying he copied me. We just had similar styles. That's it.
Right.
But
Right.
he got his foot in the door at whatever company that I couldn't, and then everyone started doing more cartoony work. And listen, I know the guy. He's a great guy. I've never said you took my work, you took my style. He's an awesome dude.
You were ahead of
Uh,
the curve.
yeah, but it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so many ideas out there. I can never say, unless I went out and pitched an idea and then they didn't use it, but
Right.
then or said no, thank you, and then used it somewhere else. I can't say somebody stole my idea
Well, let me
or
show you
someone
this.
stole my drawing style. We're around the same age. We're influenced by things.
I used to rock
That-
this shirt. This
That's
is
a
my
nice shirt.
design.
Oh, the coffee
Coffee
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah,
It's basically me. This is what they used to call me in high school, right?
yeah.
It's basically me when I was thinner.
Move it.
And I did a comic book, the first comic book of it, right? It was a
Mm,
parody on this is the God, the second coming, right? And
yeah.
next thing you know, Nacho Libre comes out. Now look, think of Nacho Libre, and
Yeah, I can see that.
he's a Hispanic guy. They just turned him into a wrestler. This I was basically making fun of Superman, right?
Hmm.
But it's a guy with no shirt, drinking a cup of coffee. He has a CJ belt,
Yeah, I
right?
saw that. I noticed that. Yeah.
And then before you know it, Nacho Libre comes on. Everyone's like, "Oh, why are you drawing Nacho Libre for?" So I was like, I
Yeah.
retired the character because I got mad. But this is one of the first shirts I had. There's like my old website on there.
Yeah. No,
You know,
it looks great, man. It's nice. You should
but
bring it back.
I have like 80 pages that are unpublished because I just got so angry with the Nacho Libre thing because I
Dude,
was
just
trying to
just do it.
show. I was
Just
gonna
do it.
the character didn't sell though. The book didn't sell. I was selling it.
It's
I had
a different
1,000
era now.
True, it's a different era.
You know, back in the 90s, you know, I always did kind of kid-friendly stuff, but I created these characters
Mhm,
that would be totally politically incorrect these days.
mhm.
But for the 90s, it would have worked out well.
Yeah.
And one of the characters' names, it was Suicide Sid. And he was a guy who just hated life. And
Suicide Sid.
he would basically spend the days trying to kill himself, but he was an immortal. So I
Yeah.
would do these little stupid little gags
Right.
about it. And then like, you know, you see all these like back in the day, what was the company? So, like Slave Labor Graphics started publishing like books about like similar characters. They were always
Right.
dark and like all these things. And I had his friend, and again, I don't draw him these days, and it was very politically incorrect back then, but it was Juan the Human Pinata. And
Oh.
that was bad. That was bad.
Yeah.
And people would chase him with bats and beat him until he spit out candy or he broke out in candy. And
That's
that
kind
was
of funny though.
that was the idea. And Suicide Sid and Juan were like best friends, and they
That's
looked out
funny.
for each other. And that was like that
That's
was
an
the
original idea though. That's an original idea. It would
yeah,
be offensive, but you know,
oh, today definitely would not sell.
no, you'd be canceling.
I also have these characters.
Canceling it right now just for exposing it. Someone's
Oh,
gonna. It's a tweet from 28 years ago before Twitter existed. It was a handwritten letter.
yeah, but you know, you know, I don't do that type of art anymore. I don't draw
Yeah.
those characters anymore. You know, I do, and I'm not going to say it wasn't kid friendly. My
Yeah.
work would have been great for kids. It's just the names of them were not
Right.
so polite. But
Yeah. I think
yeah, no, I'm
so. This is like the first book I ever put out. God, the Second Coming. Right.
yeah,
It was magazine style.
yeah.
We had a guy in the back making fun of Alex Ross as done an illustrator. It's Alex Ross's Superman. I called him Captain Conspiracy, right? We had the GI American and Mocha
Yeah.
Latte Lightning, which was a Black Lightning ripoff, you know.
Yeah.
But they were all like coffee people. And
Yeah,
then
no,
I
I
was
like it though. It's good.
yeah, it was, and this is like it's like a fanzine. I had like an Archie parody in there. His name was Jack O'Shite, you know. You know.
Dude, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's all black
I'd
and white
love to
stuff.
see.
It's all black and white. This is all
Yeah.
SVA. I was an SVA when
Yeah.
this was coming out.
I'd love to do. Actually, I think some of the stuff I'm going to be releasing that I thought was going to be color might go to black and white, but like, you know, gray tones and stuff. I'm not going to sit and just leave it black and white.
And this kid goes to hell. He's
And he meets the Joker. That looks like the Joker.
the devil.
The devil looks like the Joker.
Yeah, the devil. He has like horns, right? It looks like,
Yeah.
you know, it's a devil. It's like a.
No, I like that
Yeah.
stuff.
It's like this episode. It's basically God, the devil, and death here. You know, it's like over the earth, and then you have this Grover-looking demon there. It's like
No, I like that. I like that, dude. That's good stuff.
yeah.
Why does God look like the craziest of the bunch?
Because he's because he's nuts.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What'd you say?
That's because he's nuts. You know.
Oh,
It was like like this one here is like this. You see the kids like they do like little infomercials. They have like
yeah.
he's saying he says, remember kids, sheep shouldn't be used as role models. They should be eaten. Next time your mom goes out to the supermarket, let her know you want Lamb of God chops found in your grocery freezer. They're delicious, nutritious, and downright holy.
Jeez, that's great, man.
And then the little guy says, Lamb of Bama-licious. I'm gonna eat me some of these mighty fine chops. Yum yum. And then the sheep with a crown. Like, this is what happens when you grow up a Christian. The sheep has a crown. Yeah. And he said, made from 100% pure Christians.
All right, man. I think on that note, I'm gonna have to end it because it is 7 p.m. over here for us, and I know it's not late, but I do want to eat dinner before it gets late. I've actually been doing a diet and losing weight and stuff, so I'm not usually eating past 7 p.m. So now I'm gonna eat past 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, 7. So let me go get dinner and eat a little bit before it gets too late for me.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have to do this again.
Yeah.
I always love chatting with you, Ray.
Yeah. There goes Jesus. I got Jesus in there too. Look at Jesus.
Oh, I got some stuff I'll talk about
Jesus has
offline.
that Joker look to him too. Now
Yeah,
that
a little bit.
this is me like being a fan of The Simpsons. This is God here.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And
I
is
you
it
know I
Roto?
I've
Roto
always been I've
Roto.
always been what? Oh, what?
What was the name of those rapidiographs? It was
Oh,
rapidiographs.
rapidograph. Yeah.
And
No.
they got Jesus as Elvis. You see, he's as the king.
Yeah. Listen, I've never found, do what you need to do, you'll find an audience. I've never knocked a book or whatever unless I didn't like the
Yeah.
story, you
Yeah.
know. Or I don't even knock it. I just say it's not for me. So,
Yeah.
but I do need to get going, Ray, so I'm going to end it.
All right.
I want to thank everyone who watched and she commented, and
I'll send you a copy of this.
I'll be happy to read it, man. I'll be happy to read
You'll
it.
laugh. You're like, and this is just one book. I never released number 2 or 3. Because
Wow.
because the
Well,
sales were bad and that was expensive. Small
well,
press back then was 1,000 copies.
I remember that. Well, that'll be our next conversation.
Yeah.
The small press publishing printing company or whatever it was there.
Yeah.
So
Have you used that Ingram Spark yet, like JM
I
talked about?
I have to fix. I told you I have to fix my cover, but yes, I've used it. I don't have anything officially published with it yet.
Mhm.
I will finish it this week, fix
Mhm.
the book, and by the end of the week, I should have it. Like, I know tomorrow I have something going on. Tuesday I have something going on, so I'm hoping to get to it on Wednesday.
Mm.
And once I have it all up and going, and then it takes about 24 hours for it to confirm, and then I have to confirm it.
Right.
And then so probably if I can get it done on Wednesday, hopefully by Friday I will be able to order at least a book for myself
Mhm.
and do a test and see how it is. And after it comes, I'll be able to like start putting it everywhere and marketing it.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
All right, man. You
but
have
yeah,
a
we'll talk soon. Thanks for coming on. I had a lot of fun today.
yeah.
Always great chatting. And you guys, Tuesday night, make sure 8:30 p.m. Eastern here. On my Get in Tune show, we'll have another guest. We'll be looking at a Kickstarter. It'll be great, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
It'll be
All right.
fun.
I'll talk to you guys
I'll
later.
have you on the next Bronx Hero show.
You let me know when, Ray.
My like little stitches, my little injury there.
Oh,
Got stitches there.
what'd you do?
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, let me end then. All right, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you on Tuesday. All right. Have a great night,
Take
guys.
care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.